Hi, Billy Mays here with the brand new Keeler Kill Switch. When that morning show starts yapping about something you can't stand, don't reach for the dial. Just press this big red button and BAM!
This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. It is Friday. I love it. I love Fridays.
I have wasted my time.
All right, in studio here this morning with us is Tim Reed and Manaski and Davey and who knows what else happens today. Willie Waffle this hour. We got the latest in streaming. Anybody watching? Are you, Tim, watching Ted Lasso?
Yes.
Have you gotten through episode 2?
Yes.
You seem.
Please don't spoil. I'm on episode 4 of season 1. We just started watching.
Oh, we're in a different universe than you, Mr. Manaski.
You see what I mean by it sucks you in. You're going to love this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to hate when season 1 is over, but love the fact that you've got season 2, 3, and then 4 coming.
Yeah.
So by the time you get done with season 2 and 3, 4 will be done. So without spoiling it for anybody, by the way, it's on Apple TV Plus, and then you can find it on all other different places afterwards. But we're both through episode 2 because they drop on Wednesday nights.
Yep.
And it's it's a whole different thing now, but it's kind of the same thing.
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm okay with. I think what has happened in my life as the years go on, my retention is just terrible, putrid. So,
at one point in time it was good.
Well, I think it was. I do think it was. Well, let's say this: it was better.
Okay.
And I think what had I'm almost thinking I could watch a movie
and watch it again.
Put a month in between and be like, oh, this looks like a good movie. Let's check it out. So
I've done that with books.
Yeah.
Where I'm like about 50 or 60 pages in. I'm like
oh
a Stephen King book. I'm going,
I've read
this seems familiar. Oh no, because I read it last year.
That's funny. But I'm okay with it so far. The look on your face, you do not seem to be. The reviews are crushing. They're crushing it. Same old story, doing it all over again, just a whole different gender.
I think that at the end of season 3, if it had ended right there,
would have been amazing.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And
beauty,
somehow,
the beauty is I forgot how season 3 ended.
Oh, well, it's just the producers or whatever it is. There's a little bit more meat on the bone, and
I imagine there was the meeting saying, "This is so huge. How do we let this go?"
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody in the room was like, well, why don't we do this with lacrosse? We could do the same thing with lacrosse or some other sport. But instead, they've kind of come down this road. So you're shaking your head in dismay. However, you've watched both episodes.
I know.
Right.
I'm going to watch it till it's bitter end. But, one of the things they say is that somebody was actually, this is probably totally incongruent, but we were talking about Bill Belichick. And he said, a lot of times you get measured by the last job you did. And I wonder if Belichick's kind of like saying, why did I do this when I could have, left?
So I've been watching. Is anybody familiar with Pablo Torre? Pablo Torre finds out. He broke the whole Kawhi Leonard thing. There's a whole Kawhi Leonard scandal. And he does these kind of true investigative reports, and he'll include it in a whole podcast, but it's like months worth of investigating. And he's done a whole series I think it's 2 episodes on Michael, I think it's Lombardi, who was the general manager at UNC.
Yeah.
And who is he been put on leave, Smitty? Or has he been let go? He's at a minimum put on leave.
He's been on leave.
Yeah. So, but it has to do with Belichick, and they say they position themselves as the 33rd NFL team, but this guy's credentials are like legitimately in question. And same thing with Belichick here. And not that his credentials are in question, but we had heard reports at least last season that the girlfriend was significantly more involved than anyone expected or wanted. So it's funny because this is what happened. This is why guys sometimes Like you look at LeBron in season 24. Jordan stepped away, came back, did a little bit, and then in the documentary he talks about how guys he couldn't compete at the top level, so he didn't want to compete. You stay long enough, you become an average player, and then people remember you as not one of the greats. They remember you as an average player.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want your legacy to be remembered when, I guess. Although I guess ultimately it will be. Coming up, speaking of sports documentary, Gus Pfisterer is from here. He is a local guy, went off, and now has become a documentarian, and has a documentary being released actually this week, I believe, from on ESPN. It's an ESPN documentary, and it's about the only number, I believe it's the only number ever retired from the Little League World Series, and it's a very interesting story, and we're going to have him on this morning.
Oh, that hits perfectly, too, with the World Series.
With it going on right now, yeah. On this date, the world changed. 115 years ago on this date, our world changed. Anybody want to guess? I'm going to even bring in
I see the answer here. Wow.
I'm going to bring in an expert on this, Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. And Tanya, on this date, 115 years ago, the world changed. What happened?
Crisco was launched. Yes, they rolled this out in 1911.
Boy, I never realized it was that long ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. They aimed it basically at these cooks who were looking for something else to use besides animal fat and butter to like use in their baking and their cooking in general, frying, whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, Crisco was way ahead of its time if you think about it. They were all in on the plant-based stuff way before anybody else because that was what they called it. They leaned heavily on the all vegetable claim. It's like cottonseed oil and that kind of stuff. That's what it's plant based, and that's basically before plant based was a thing. They were doing this, and of course they've had these catchy ads. Remember all the ads?
Yes.
The Crisco ads. Remember the Loretta Lynn ones? There were so many.
I remember
kinds.
Probably the 70s, but you've seen the retro ones from well before the 50s and 60s. But and it was almost presented as healthy, wasn't it? It's funny how they did that. Yeah.
Well, compared to straight butter, or what was the other fat?
Animal fat.
Basically.
Animal fat, lard, yeah.
Lard,
so you could probably make the argument, especially if you're pushing this is an all vegetable, its yield is from all vegetable products.
Yeah.
At least in your mind, it makes you think it's a healthier product.
And when you really think about it, you don't think of fried foods going back that far, but really French fries, pommes frites, has been around for a long time. And you're thinking that they've been cooking with vegetable oil for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, their marketing campaigns were quite something.
Yeah.
They always talked about how it was, it would make your fried chicken lighter.
Yeah.
Yep, your pie crust flakier and the whole deal. They have, of course, expanded their line a little bit, through the years. But yeah, this was kind of the thing. And the other thing that they really leaned on, especially it seems like in the 80s and 90s, was the zero trans fat part of this. That was one of the things that when we started talking about trans fats. Remember that was a big thing on labeling years ago. Was it's zero trans fats. Oh, well, that must be healthy. Never mind how many grams of sugar or whatever it had in it. But yeah, this was 1911. It's been around that long.
We had a friend who was a Scottish woman who used to be a cook around here, and she cooked these unbelievable like Scottish shortbread, and she was just a really, really good cook. And her phrase was, "If it's not lard, it's crap." She cooked with lard. Let me tell you, everything was lard. But the world has changed. So Crisco, 115 years ago today. Wow.
So, and a quick education for us, it is healthier or less healthy than butter and lard?
Everything in moderation.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's apparently got 0 trans fats per serving, so that's
That's a good thing.
It's whatever you would like to. I remember there was when I was looking through yesterday. I was doing research on this. I did a piece on this yesterday, and I was pulling some of the old ads. I was going through and looking at them, and I'd forgotten. One of these was talking about how the guy's complimenting this woman's fried chicken. They're over at somebody else's house, and they're like, "Oh, this fried chicken is so light and it's not greasy." And there was the whole point of the ad was, she said, "Yeah, that's because the Crisco stays in the pan, not in your food." And the ad literally showed her like sticking a wooden spoon down in the Crisco in the pan before frying, and then again after frying, and it was supposed to be
about
like
the same, right?
or really close to the same amount, proving that it wasn't in your food. But I was like, I don't know who thought of this stuff. But I'd love to interview the people who did the marketing for Crisco through the years.
I'd love to interview the guy who poured extra Crisco into the pan just before the wooden spoon went in. So, all right, interesting stuff there, Tanya. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right,
you too.
Thanks. On YouTube today, we're expecting another wild day of comments over there. It's unbelievable. Davey has loved it this week. Steve, though, this morning says, Jeff, yesterday Bill told me I was wrong. Please Google Biden's highest inflation rate and gas prices. No one has said that during the Biden administration, and who really cares, Biden is dying of cancer right now and not president. But okay. But the point of all of that is there was I forgot what crisis occurred that sent gas prices sky high at some point during Biden's administration. I kind of find it, I remember standing at the pump pumping high gas prices, but I'm not sure I remember who was president at the time nonetheless. I'm sure it was Biden, and I'm sure inflation was high. Remember, we're coming out of COVID. So you went from Trump's administration to Biden's administration, now back to Trump's. And all of that, much of those problems were caused by COVID. But the point that is being made is where we are right now in August is the highest gas prices have ever been at this point in August. That was the only comment that Jeff had made because it was a news story.
It was a news story.
And it was a Fox
correct.
News story, as a matter of fact. But the point is, during that last year, the numbers had been coming down. The gas prices had been coming down during the Biden administration. He did not leave Trump on day one with $5 gas prices. So that's
10% inflation,
or 10% inflation, and all of that inflation came from the fact that money was being delved out after COVID and all. It was a mess. There's no doubt. But we're in the middle of something that was probably the worst thing we've ever been through, COVID, right?
Yeah.
So, and no one's here defending Biden. But you can't take an element of things are bad right now, or you got to come out. And this is what kills me is when Trump will come out and give an interview and say it's better now than it's ever been. Inflation is low. Gas prices are coming down as soon as the war's over, which was 2 months ago, right? And food prices are way down. That's not true. The only thing that you're paying less for right now is eggs. I like eggs. I'm glad I'm not paying $8 a dozen for eggs.
Yeah.
But everything else is costing you more. And you got to point to tariffs and you point to the current war. That's just a fact. It's not an opinion.
My computer or part of it here, a couple tabs work, but it's frozen because I want to remember. Tim, do you remember why gas prices hit $5 a gallon? I don't remember why.
There was something.
During Biden or
at some point
in 2022, I believe.
I don't believe it was during Trump. Actually,
no,
there was a problem during Trump. Was the problem where the prices went so low,
right?
And that was a
bad thing for the American economy.
That was an attack from Russia and Iran trying to lower the gas prices to the point where it drove out U.S. refineries,
right?
And it was successful. So the prices were actually too low,
right? Because they couldn't turn a profit. It was good for us at the gas pump, I guess. So do
you remember
So, wasn't there really that Biden had kind of come down a bit on the fossil fuel people and So there was
I don't.
less refining.
It may have been. That may have been a part of it.
Yeah.
Actually, during Biden,
because I know he hit the strategic oil. As a matter of fact, the strategic oil reserve right now is the lowest it has been in 40 years, and
lower
not
than
only
Biden,
and
lower than anybody.
Biden's hit it, and
Right,
Trump has
right,
hit it.
right.
So
but at the end of the day, it was not that. It was because, interestingly, during Biden, we were at that point more oil independent than we had ever been. Certainly in decades, but there was some crisis, and I forgot what it was, that occurred, and gas prices just shot up.
What I'm seeing here was a combination of post-pandemic travel demand, reduced global oil refining capacity, and market panic from Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah.
It was the Ukrainian invasion. That's when prices jacked up. Yep.
So the other thing on the inflation, you have to remember there was a backlog of every product you wanted to order, right? The cargo ships weren't coming.
Yep.
Everything was backed up, so that led to spikes in prices.
Yeah, and it was at a time
market.
when consumers were just gorging up everything. People were trying to buy everything, go everywhere, do things post-COVID. So
is that the toilet paper scare too?
The toilet paper scare came at the beginning of COVID.
Okay.
Clorox wipes, remember, you couldn't get those. But again, this has been a cluster over the last 8-10 years, what we've been through, including COVID. So but no one is. Well, look at Biden. Look at that. I mean, we're only talking about what we're going through right now.
Yeah,
and there's you can point to why it's happening right now, and you can also point to plenty of security people, military experts who are now beginning to come out and say, we warned the president. We said we should not do this. This is not a wise decision to go into Iran, and here we are, and what they predicted happened. Now you can take it all you want. You can be like, blame it on Hegseth. Don't blame it on Trump. Whatever. All I'm telling you is this is where we are now because of what's going on right now. And I think that as a military person, Tim, as a veteran, what was happening to those Navy men and women on the Abraham Lincoln is terrible. Yeah. And then for Hegseth to come out and say it's not true.
I think what he said was overstated.
Overreported, and exaggerated. But if it is, I don't know why we're replacing that aircraft carrier right now, but we are. And there have been Navy men who have jumped overboard to kill themselves because of the conditions according to reports, because of the conditions they were living in. There's also reports that this was some sort, and I don't believe this, but some sort of a study to see how far you could push the military in a crisis, in a bad scenario, how long you could push them to go out to sea. They'd been out since October, by the way. So without docking since October of last year. So I just think that's really unfortunate.
So just quickly on the gas prices here, Stephen replied, gas prices came down because he used our National Strategic Oil Reserve.
That's not true, because the National Strategic, I'm not saying he didn't, but the National Strategic, you have to understand this to be able to talk about it. We've never had enough of a strategic oil reserve so that you may alleviate slightly the price by utilizing that. Because where's the big change right now? It may not be going as high as it could go, but you're not going to lower prices by releasing that oil. We just don't have enough in reserve. We use so much on a daily basis. So that's not how prices went down. Prices just went down. I don't know that it was because of Biden. Most times in the United States, when gas prices are high, George Bush was a perfect example. Prices went high under Bush. If he could have lowered gas prices before the election, he would have lowered gas prices. But presidents don't really have that ability. However, in this particular case, the Strait of Hormuz and what we've done in Iran has directly caused gas prices to go sky high.
Well, in the case of George, I mean, one of the things is that I think it's simplistic to look at the economy and say, this is Biden's economy, this is Trump's economy. It is, if you think about, this is like trying to steer the Abraham Lincoln and hitting the brakes.
Try turning that.
It is our economy is massive. So in the case of George Bush, what happened to him was he was coming out. He was in a recession. We were actually starting to come out of the recession when the whole thing about it's the economy stupid. And what happened was to a certain extent that he lost, but.
And Bill Clinton got the
largesse
to take credit
of the
for
economy.
what George Bush HW
had
actually
done.
accomplished.
Exactly.
And if you remember, one of the things that killed Bush during the campaign was when he was so excited about learning the barcode swiping. This is really amazing how you can take the item and swipe it and it just beeps and the price comes up. I've never seen anything like this. Yeah. Meanwhile, consumers who actually shop for their own groceries,
right.
The average American is like,
where
have you been for the last 20 years?
The perception is certainly out of touch. There's no question about it. I'm not arguing that. But I mean, when was the last time you were in Market 32 and you saw a president buying bananas
or
buying lamb chops or
listen, I saw
ground beef.
I've seen the president of the Boilermaker several times in the store.
The president of the Boilermaker, the president of the country is a little different.
Well, again, I'm not saying that he was wrong, that he should have been out shopping for his own groceries.
No.
What I'm saying is that moment caught on tape.
Yeah. Yes,
and
that
it also
depiction showed how out of touch you are with the average person who works every day.
It was symbolism.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting about that, too, is remember Gary Hart.
Monkey business?
All it took was one monkey business boat cheating on a wife who was dying of cancer, and the photo showing up, and boom, he was out of the race. Since Clinton and Trump, we're in a whole different world. And even with Bush, that one symbolic moment, some say cost him the race. Boy, we don't have that happening today. It's like we are overloaded with content and symbolism, if you will, to the point where we just look the other way, I think.
Dukakis in the tank with that helmet.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Some of the things
was bad.
Some of the stuff. So
two things to put a bow on this quickly. First of all, QAnon John is talking about some things this morning, and
he knows the laws of the country.
He's said this on the feed several times, and I just would like a brief explanation. He says Biden was, in all caps, never president, 100%, laugh emoji. Who was then?
I know someone who believes that.
But who was in charge?
Obama.
It was Obama?
Yes, Obama was running the country while making movies. Obama was running America. And I had somebody with a straight face say to me, and then the face started straight, and when I said that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, they began laughing at me like I'm the naive, crazy one.
Right.
I'm like, with this conversation can go we're going nowhere with this. But yeah, Biden never was in control. It was always Obama.
Second thing is J.D. Vance yesterday, just because we're talking about gas prices, I want to throw this in. We've heard multiple times, it sounds like he's flipped the order of these two things now, and maybe it's because of midterms, I'm not sure. But J.D. Vance was asked yesterday about the situation in Iran, and he said, our number one goal is to make gas cheaper for Americans. Our second goal is to make sure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon.
Really?
Wow.
That he flipped those, right?
I think he made a mistake. I hope he
Trump
made a mistake.
all along has said nuclear weapon, that's the issue.
Yeah.
So
Willie Waffle is our man and is on the line right now. Willie, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, that sounds like a big oopsie.
It does sound like
sounds like their script got flipped a little bit.
The words of Chris Berman.
Oh, wait, it was the nuclear weapon. Sorry.
I think that was a mistake. All right, Willie, good morning. We're heading towards, believe it or not, middle of August. And
oh, God, yeah.
And the summer is flying, and before you know it, we'll be into the fall season of movies. Is this kind of like the lingering time where everything that's out is basically, it's summertime stuff, and we're just picking up some extra stuff as the summer concludes?
Yeah, it's the dump time. I mean, there are so many movies just getting dumped into theaters right now because it's the end of summer, and maybe we'll make a couple extra bucks, and we can clear the slate for the fall and all of our Oscar-nominated films that we actually want to win Oscars for, and all the money makers we want to make money for.
I want to start right off the bat, and I want to go back to YouTube comments as people are going nuts. I love it. Can't wait to see, this is Deeds, can't wait to see End of Oak Street with the kids. That's one that is released this week. What do you know?
Yeah, so this is the one that's got Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor. They are parents living in the suburbs in it's like mid-1980s. It feels like it's 84 or 85. And, they have kind of a typical 80s life, right? Like, they're living in the nice little house in the suburbs, but they've got troubles. Mom and dad aren't necessarily getting along very well. The kids have their issues. And all of a sudden, one night, there's this wild cosmic event. There's this wild lightning storm that happens outside. And when they wake up in the morning, there's dinosaurs everywhere. And they have to figure out, how did they get shipped back to prehistoric times, and how are they going to survive?
Bum, bum, bum.
So, yeah, and this is a movie, I don't want to ruin or dampen the excitement that your children have, whoever put that quote out there. Yeah. But this is really just a lot of a chase movie, and not much else to go. It's like, it's almost like somebody had a great idea. Imagine if a whole bunch of modern people ended up getting shipped back to prehistoric times, and then they're stuck there. And then they didn't know what else to do, like story-wise. Like, you've got a lot of chase scenes, right? They've got to go outside. They get chased by dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are trying to break into the house. You've got a lot of that. But it never really kind of, I think, establishes more of a plot. And it wants to shift into being more of this emotional kind of family drama, or the family realizes they have to pull together and how much they care about each other. But it doesn't really justify that because it's spending too much time running around and showing us different dinosaurs. And I think the other thing that really bothers me is the visuals aren't that great. I mean, I don't know what looks more fake, the CGI dog or the CGI dinosaurs. They're both not done very well.
So you don't seem to like this one a lot.
Yeah, I'm at 1.5.
Wow. Okay.
It's got some interesting scenes. It'll keep you compelled as far as watching the chase and hoping that they survive and trying to figure out how they're going to get out of it. And then I kind of feel like the ending was kind of a cop out. I don't want to give away too much, but I was left just feeling blah.
All right, there you go, Deeds. Enjoy that movie. And then
great night for the family tonight, huh?
And then I do wonder, did you get so dismayed over Ted Lasso that you did not watch episode 2, or did you tune in?
I have not watched episode 2. Okay. I was that dismayed. Does it get better? Should I get excited? Should I turn it back on? Or are you going to tell me that I was justified in doing something else Wednesday night?
I watched last night, and I am looking forward to episode 3. Tim, however, does not feel the same way.
I feel like I drank a big glass of saccharin.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah. My grandmother used to have one of those. It was like a little gold, a tiny little, I guess you'd call it a little purse, or it would open up like and she'd pull out her saccharin and drop it in her coffee in the days until somebody said, that causes cancer. All right, there's one more in theaters, and that's The Rivals of Uzziah King with Matthew McConaughey. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting movie. This is Matthew McConaughey is in a role that just seems like it was built for Matthew McConaughey, right? Like, he's this eccentric honey-making musician off in the kind of a rural part of Oklahoma. He's just a good time guy who's making honey and playing his banjo and doing the blues, or not the bluegrass music, and everybody loves him. He's a lovable figure in town, but something happens. see his former foster daughter returns to town. He's all excited. He's going to be able to bring her into the family and teach her the business and give her a career, when all of a sudden somebody starts stealing the honey. And Amaziah King is trying to defend his family, and they're trying to figure out who are the criminals that are trying to steal people's livelihoods. And I think this is a better movie. I think it's a much more interesting movie. I think the first part, you spend a lot of time kind of learning about the joy Amaziah has in life. All the ways he's just a good old boy, living a happy life, open to happiness. And then, we see kind of that second part of the movie where the criminal element moves in, and it becomes kind of, more of an action movie, more of a mystery. Who's behind all this? Can they be stopped? Will Amaziah and his people be safe? And I think that, Matthew McConaughey's fantastic. I mean, he really, this is a role that was completely made for him.
Yeah.
He's just so charming and so lovable, but, he also can bring that serious side as the movie gets darker and it gets more dangerous. I'm at like 3 waffles. I thought it was a pretty solid movie.
Okay, all right. And that is also in theaters. Then Amazon Prime, there's a new season of Reacher. This is up to what, season 4?
Yes, this is season 4 of Reacher. He's back, and look out, people. He is on the loose in Philadelphia. And I'm really angry because the book is set in New York City, and I've been telling everybody for months, oh, yeah, he's going to be in New York. No, he's in Philadelphia. And while Reacher's in Philadelphia, he is on the train at 2 a.m., which I didn't think the subway ran at 2 a.m. in Philadelphia. And all of a sudden, he sees somebody who's giving off all the signs of being like a terrorist bomber. And he goes over and he's trying to calm her, and he's trying to, kind of talk her down, and she commits suicide on the train.
Oh, boy.
And now Reacher wants to know why, because as he's getting questioned by the police, as he's thinking back about what he saw on the train that night, he realizes there's something more going on. And as the show goes on, the conspiracy gets bigger and bigger and crazier and crazier. And, they've got the first 3 episodes out now if you want to catch up there. And then they're going to have the rest of the 10 kind of, premiering every Wednesday up through, I think it's like October. But, if you like Reacher, this is your show, right? It's the same guy. It's Alan Richson. He's still kind of, kicking booty and trying to get to the bottom of things, and he gets a good one-liner in every once in a while. And, it's pretty much everything you expect. It's not amazing. The conspiracy, I think, is a little bit wildly crazy. But I'm at like 2.5 waffles. It's an enjoyable show. I've always enjoyed Reacher, and I think this new season is really on par with what you've seen before.
All right. Reacher, and that's Amazon Prime. We also just started watching Age Inappropriate on Wii, and it features an upstate New York guy and a female, his girlfriend, who's 24. He's 50. Age Inappropriate. It's these couples that have a big stretch in age. And she's from Utica. He's from Troy. And it's quite an interesting watch. It ain't artwork, but it's interesting to watch.
Well, so, is he just so charming and wonderful and loving that she just can't resist him?
Have you seen it?
No, but it sounds like sounds like upstate. What is it with the?
It reminds me of
Snooki and whatever.
It does sound a little bit like that. She's very cute girl. And let me just say that he says, I know there's this age difference between us, but I kind of look like a much younger guy, like a 30-year-old guy. And then the camera goes to her, and she rolls her eyes. So take it for what it is, but it's called Age Inappropriate. And
we all think we look younger than we really do.
We really do.
When you go out to the movie theater and you see a younger guy and you go, yeah, I haven't looked like that in a long time.
Yep, I don't look younger after all. All right, Willie, good stuff. We'll talk next week. Thank you, man.
All right, see you next week.
Willie Waffle, there is the man. So Reacher looks like it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Okay, next hour, we'll get into that ESPN documentary. Looking forward to that. Also, Blake Shendebeen is going against Anthony Constantino for the 21st congressional district race. We'll speak with Blake Gendabine coming up here this morning on WIBX.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
This could be a big day for Luigi Mangione. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. When the accused killer in the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson goes to federal court this morning.
This is expected to be a plea change, not a plea deal.
Though that guilty plea is not for murder, the federal charges are stalking Brian Thompson, and Mangione could get less than a life sentence. Fox's Chanley Painter also reports from outside the court in New York City.
His team wants to use a resolution in this federal case to attack his state case where he faces murder charges. They argue he is unconstitutionally being tried twice for the same crime in violation of double jeopardy. And here in New York State, there are stricter laws when a defendant has already been convicted federally for the same criminal conduct.
There are 3 empty cells on death row in Alabama, Oklahoma, and Tennessee the morning after executions in each of those states on the same day, and that hasn't happened in 16 years. The standoff with Iran continues over Strait of Hormuz shipping, and Vice President Vance tells Fox.
Goal number 1, keep oil and gas cheap for Americans all over our country. And then obviously goal number 2 is ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. I feel confident we're accomplishing both of those goals.
There are new Fox Senate polls. A week after progressive Abdul El Sayed won the Democratic primary in Michigan, he trails Republican Mike Rogers by 4 points. As for Ohio,
the latest Fox News poll finds Republican Senator John Husted 8 points behind Democratic former Senator Sherrod Brown. In the Ohio governor's race, Vivek Ramaswamy is at 50%, with the Democrat Amy Acton at 48%. And the polling found a willingness to vote a split ticket.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. A hurricane may hit Hawaii this weekend. For now, it's Tropical Storm Lala.
It is likely and a high probability that this will be a Category 1 storm as it approaches the Big Island and scoots south of the rest of the islands.
Fox weather meteorologist Craig Herrera. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
The controversy is not over at the Kennedy Center in Washington. Months after a judge's ruling ordered the building's renaming to the Trump Kennedy Center be scrapped, there's a plan to put the president's name back on in a different way.
The Performing Arts Center's Board of Trustees voted to add President Trump's name to the building's facade, according to Democratic Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, a member of the board. Beatty calls the development a transparent effort to circumvent a court ruling. She says the board approved a resolution to add restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump to the building. The board, made up of a majority of supporters of President Trump's, also approved plans to close the Kennedy Center for 2 years for a major renovation sought by the president. In May, District Court Judge Christopher Cooper ordered the removal of President Trump's name from the Kennedy Center. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
After 2 reports this week showing barely any inflation monthly in July, we'll get an update next hour on retail sales. On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed the day after the S&P 500 hit a record high. A baseball game was like something out of a movie last night. The Philadelphia Phillies and Minnesota Twins played ball in Iowa in the Field of Dreams game.
And the balls kept flying into the cornfields beyond the outfield fence. And it all started with the first batter of the game.
Schwarber with a shot out to the corn in right. Keisha back, and it's gone! What a way to open the ball game!
The Call on Netflix. Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber with a solo shot. He hit 2 home runs in this game to bring his total to a major league leading 37 on the year. 4 home runs were hit in this one, 3 by Philadelphia as they win it 7-1. Tony Genualdo, Fox News.
Also last night, a battle of first-place teams in the National League. Milwaukee beat the LA Dodgers in a comeback. The Brewers scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th to win 5-4. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
We have cloudy skies and 60 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. This update brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. Utica police receiving positive identification on human remains that were found near the Utica Marsh earlier this summer. The remains are those of 71-year-old Raymond Warmuth. That confirmation coming from the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office. Warmuth was reported missing locally back in November of 2024. UPD officials now working to determine the cause, manner, and time frame of his death. Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact Utica Police. Utica Councilperson Samantha Colosimo Testa introducing 2 proposals, one regarding public safety, the other economic development. First, she'd like to modernize the city's synthetic cannabinoid law. She says since being enacted in 2012, synthetic drugs have rapidly changed in chemical composition, name, and marketing. She says the laws need to keep pace in today's evolving market. Additionally, she and Councilman Joe Beatrice introducing a resolution to encourage Mayor Galimi to proactively communicate with BJ's representatives about their future in North Utica. This after reports that BJ's may be planning to open a facility in the New Hartford area. Meanwhile, earlier this week, the Oneida County Board of Legislators moved to ban kratom in the county. By a unanimous vote, the board voted to ban the sale of kratom and kratom-derived products. While it is often found in gas stations and convenience stores, health officials say its effect on the brain is similar to opioids and is prone to addiction and overuse. There will be an upcoming public hearing on the issue before it is enacted into law. Before the ban is enacted into law, I should say. $62 million in funding is being invested in key infrastructure in the city of Utica. The 2 bridges on North Genesee Street are being more than 60 years old. They will be replaced along with the addition of pedestrian walkways. They include shared use paths on both sides of the road for bikes, walkers, and others. The project includes new lighting, drainage, curbs, and sidewalks, along with new signage as well. The Great New York State Fair is just around the corner, and some are saying attendance will be higher this year than last year. Fair officials report nearly 28,000 wristbands were sold by Wade Show during last week's Midway Flash Sale. That's a nearly 60% increase from last year. The fair runs August 26th through Labor Day. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:08. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
Plenty of good-looking weather now over the next couple of days. Going to just mention a thunder shower today, but I think a better chance by Sunday afternoon. We've already cleared out this morning, maybe some patchy fog around. Other than that, sunshine, a few clouds this afternoon, just that small chance of a thunder shower through this evening. Most of us nothing and near 80 degrees. We'll clear tonight, low to mid-50s. North Country a little bit cooler. Some fog by morning. Patchy fog early Saturday, then sunshine 80. Likely showers and thunderstorms on Sunday, especially in the second half of the day. High 80. From the Weather Channel, Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, 60 degrees and some clouds at 7:09. All right, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, Yankees lose. They were trying to sweep the Mariners last night. The final, though, 1-0. Max Fried was your tough luck loser. He allowed just 1 run on 5 hits and 2 walks. The Yankees now visit the Blue Jays for a 3-game series that starts tonight. Mets were off last night. They head home to welcome the Nationals to Citi Field for the start of a 3-game series. The Red Sox shut out the Blue Jays 7-0. They end their 5-game losing streak. And last night was the cornfield game, as I like to call it. The Phillies took down the Twins 7-1 in the Field of Dreams game. Kyle Schwarber launched 2 home runs, including a leadoff shot in the Field of Dreams game in Dyersville, Iowa. Almost 30 Hall of Famers emerged from the corn as part of a pregame ceremony as Philly snapped a 2-game losing streak. Football, Chicago Bears president Kevin Warren says the team's off-field focus is on building a new stadium in Indiana. Speaking to reporters Wednesday, Warren said there are 2 viable sites in Hammond, but a deal is not yet done. He also refused to slam the door on building the venue on team-owned land in Arlington Heights, though talks with Illinois lawmakers have been minimal since March, he said. Preseason football this weekend, the Jets will host Tampa Bay in their preseason opener tonight. Head coach Aaron Glenn has confirmed that starters will play. The Giants start their preseason tomorrow. They host the Minnesota Vikings at MetLife Stadium. In other news, the G-Men shook up their secondary on Thursday, signing defensive backs. I'm not going to get his first name right. Ugakachukwu, Amadi, and Sam Webb. They also waived injured defensive back DJ James and released David Long. The Buffalo Bills open their preseason tomorrow when they take on the Carolina Panthers. And Smitty, I'm kind of surprised to hear this, but who's playing tomorrow for the Bills?
Joe Brady said yesterday that that Josh Allen will play most of the first quarter.
What? They better protect him. They said first quarter. All right, he'll just get some live reps and a higher, game
remember,
speed. It's not practice speed.
Tim can vouch. Remember in years past, Sean McDermott didn't play any of the starters through any of the spring training game. I mean, NFL training camp.
Preseason games. So you don't want him to get hurt. At the same time, I do think it used to be what? They would go preseason games, all starters would go full throttle. Right?
You had 6 preseason games back in the day.
It was like its own little season.
Yeah, I remember when Joe Namath blew out his knee during preseason and just was gone for the year. I still remember watching on TV and seeing this play going, oh my God.
I understand you need live reps, and obviously it's a very violent sport. Like, boxers, they shadow box, they do things 80%, 90%.
But you've already seen some guys that are already gone with Achilles that are for the entire.
Unfortunately,
that's depressing.
That's a preseason tradition. It seems like I don't know if it's because they go from 0 to 60 coming from the off season, or if I don't know, too much muscle mass for the ligaments they were born with. They blow up to, or I've heard before, and I'm not casting shade on anybody, but they say one of the side effects of steroids is that your ligaments become much more, I don't know, for lack of a better term, breakable.
Right, exactly.
Like a rubber band, like an old rubber band. So anyway, football season is about to be upon us. So right now we have cloudy skies, the sun trying to make an appearance, 61 degrees. It's a Friday morning. We made it through another week on WIBX.
We're your neighbors, friends, and your family. We care about our community, your business, and most important, you.
We support charities like the United Way, McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center, who are the members of IBW Local 43 and NECA Contractors. You don't just see our work, you live it. From the JMA Wireless Dome, hospitals, schools, and city buildings, the IBEW is part of the community.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton. When you've worked hard to build something meaningful, protecting it should be part of your plan. At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we help families navigate the complexities that come with significant assets, especially estate taxes and long-term care considerations. We break down the implications, explore smart strategies, and help reduce future tax exposure and nursing home costs. Because no two families are alike, every plan is tailored to fit your situation.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
You know you want one. A Bad Boys mower isn't just another mower. It's second to none. It's an American-built machine with heavy-duty U.S. steel and shipped straight to Bob's Bad Boys mowers, never sitting around in a warehouse. That means when you're ready to mow, your bad boy is ready to go. And when the job's done, we're still here with expert sales, service, maintenance, and warranty support. Stop by Bob's Bad Boys Sales and Service, 6419 Middle Road in Munnsville. Call 315-264-2781 or visit bobsbadboys.com.
There's still plenty of summer left, so why not get the most out of every sunny day? Load up the family, head to the lake, explore somewhere new, or just enjoy the drive, because the best summer memories are made 1 mile at a time. At Steep Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer, it's the perfect time to upgrade your ride. Right now, lease a 2026 Chevy Equinox LT all-wheel drive for just $349 a month, or lease a 2026 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab 4-wheel drive for only $389 a month. So don't let summer pass you by. Make the most of every adventure in a brand new Chevy from Steep Ponte. These offers end August 31st, so stop in today. Steep Ponte Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Qualified customers only must qualify for top-tier financing with GM Financial. Have a Chevrolet lease in the household and be approved for a GM card. $3,000 cash down plus first payment, tax, and fees. 3-year lease, 10,000 miles per year. See salesperson for complete details. Must take delivery by August 31st.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers is a simple, anonymous way to keep our neighborhood safe by reporting crimes anonymously. Cash incentives are available if the tip leads to an arrest. If you see something, say it here. MohawkValleyCrimeStoppers.com or phone in tips at 866-730-TIPS. And registration is now open for the 6th annual Crime Stoppers Golf Outing, Saturday, September 19th at the Shamrock Golf Course in Oriskany. Call Anna for registration forms at 315-269-3924.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186 or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Portions of the program today brought to you by River Hills Properties. And there are many that really think about the winter being, I don't know if it's many, but I've been thinking about it, being just a little ways off, And now the predictions are coming out. We're going to have a bad winter. We're going to have a wet winter, which can mean snowy for us. A warm winter. October is going to be the hottest on record. I don't think we can predict the weekend. We're still not sure what's going to happen this Sunday, let alone tomorrow, let alone go way into the wintertime. But I can tell you this, winters have been tough lately, and I think it's inspired people to really consider maybe Florida, the snowbird concept, Florida in the wintertime, and River Hills can help. Of course, they have a full team of agents in sunny Florida, Sarasota, Naples, Marco Island, and it's the River Hills concept. And that, of course, is no lockbox. They never use the lockbox. Your listing agent is there every time the home is shown. And that's great because if a buyer or a potential buyer has a question, your listing agent knows your property, knows the values, knows the ins and outs. They make it that way so they can answer those questions and speed up the process. Whether you're looking in the Sarasota region or that beautiful part of Florida or here in the beautiful part of upstate New York. And they have offices here in Barneveld, in Little Falls, in Newport, and in Rome. It's River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
All right, a couple of things to get to real quick on the comments here. Larry said, good morning, Larry. Larry says, come on, Jeff. Josh will be fine. We were talking about Josh Allen playing the first quarter in tomorrow's preseason game against
He is
Carolina.
playing the first quarter? I like that.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do.
It sounds like Larry does too. I had commented that I thought it was risky to put him out there. But, okay, that's fair enough. I do think...
Well, let's just say this. Anyone touches him, there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, and you got to take him out then if he's taking...
And
you don't want to see him scrambling in preseason week one.
And believe me, you don't want to see him scrambling. You sliding... I mean, don't put yourself in any jeopardy.
Yeah, I actually think Larry has a fair point, and I alluded to this, that they used to play, Tim said they played 6 preseason games, and the starters were in for a vast majority of that. So maybe they are too soft on the players nowadays. So he says Josh will be fine.
Well, I think it's an interesting message to send. The message is the way we've been doing it up to this point has not resulted in the big win, and it's time to change our attitude just a little bit.
I don't know, though, the first quarter of preseason game 1 changes your outcome.
That's going to mean Super Bowl. That's what it's going to mean. It won't mean Super Bowl.
But I think that's a fair point from Larry. QAnon John, this is where I start scratching my beard and the hair that I have left on the top of my head. QAnon John says, he said a couple things already this morning. One of them is you spend too much time watching that BS. That's why you don't understand what's going on, Keeler. Here's the problem with...
Watching what BS?
I don't know. John will say things like, you don't understand the current laws and orders of this country, and there's other things he'll say, Biden was never president, etc. But... why don't you just tell me what's going to happen? He said earlier, watch what happens with J.D. Vance. Watch.
Yeah.
Well, just tell me. Is he going to win? Is he not going to win? Is he going to be the candidate? Is he not going to be the candidate?
But the problem is...
Just tell me.
There is such a low bar set for QAnon people. It's like Nostradamus. It's like anybody that predicts the future. Sooner or later, you're going to get right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So... I just think that show me something that you predicted. This is where you got to put it back on them.
Yeah.
Show me something you predicted that has been proven to be real.
That's number one. And number two is my problem with that strategy of this, I'm the all-knowing or I'm on the inside and you don't know, is just tell me. Go ahead and inform me. And so you can't say, like, I'll use Trump as an example with this past election. You can't say, watch what happens with Trump in the election. Just watch. What's going to happen? Watch. I'm telling you, watch.
Yeah,
and then if he wins, you say, look, I told you. And if he loses, you say, look, I told you.
Listen, and
something's going to happen. I get it. Yes, but tell me what it is.
Can we just also acknowledge that Trump's win, his last win, and I know this is going to anger some people, but Trump was extremely unpopular and remains even more so, more unpopular than he has ever been right now. But at the time of his election, everyone is focused on, can you believe Trump had such a big win? Okay, well, let's look at it. You have Biden, who's walking around almost dead. He's running. Everybody says he shouldn't run. He's falling. He can't ride a bicycle anymore. The guy cannot ride a bicycle anymore. And then he does a debate, and apparently they took him off his meds or put him on special meds, and he has a moment where it may be the worst ever debate performance in the history. He looks dead. He looks dead. Like, for a moment, I'm thinking QAnon John might have been right. Maybe Biden isn't the president. So then they go and decide who we're going to run up against president or against Trump. And they pick Kamala Harris. And then even worse than that, they tie her hands to the point where she can't answer any questions, won't do any difficult interviews, and was probably the worst candidate in the Democrats ever could have chosen. And Trump won. Is there any big surprise that he won? I mean, they put those two up against Trump.
Well,
if anyone can destroy an opportunity, it's the Democrats, and which is why I say don't count your chickens before your eggs have hatched in the midterms, because if anybody can screw up the midterms, they've been given a gift. If anybody can screw this up, it'll be the Democrats.
Well, we finally killed Medicaid, and that was one of Biden's lines. Was it Medicaid or Medicare? We finally killed Medicare. Anyway,
that debate.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing, though. I disagree with you a little bit because you can still find these online. The election night coverage from your CNNs, your MSNBCs, and what's the other one that's popular up? Maybe it was regular NBC. But there was a lot of shock among those panels that Trump won.
Absolutely, there was.
Yeah.
And
They thought Kamala was going to win.
But not because she was good, because Trump was so bad. Trump was so polarized. There were so many people polarizing. There were so many. That was their surprise.
Yeah.
No one ever thought. I don't know anybody that thought Kamala Harris, who couldn't win, who couldn't. I don't know that she's ever won anything.
Well, she won DA. She won a Senate seat.
All right.
But she didn't even win the primary in her state when she ran.
Yeah. And now get it. Just she's considering a run in 2028.
And she went on The View and says, when she's asked the question, "What would you do differently than the current president?"
Right,
I'd leave it. Yeah. Okay, so the guy's already,
it was
on
awful.
the Titanic, and you've decided you want to have a chair right next to him.
And by the way, this was the same problem that Trump is having right now. You have an economy that's problematic, and you keep telling everybody the economy's good. Biden did that, and Kamala Harris came up and put a gold star on it. Just tone deaf. It was awful, and so no surprise there. It wasn't just. I think Democrats thought anybody could beat Trump, and boy, did they get surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Now, keep in mind, there was half the Democratic Party that did not want Kamala Harris, that wanted a quick primary, something to be able to select a viable candidate, and then there was the part of the party that wanted to keep Biden in there. Just keep him alive. Right. Keep him alive. I mean, you would think... I swear to God, we could form a committee with a pizza and a 6-pack of beer and do better than the Democrats did during that election.
I mean, what the Democrats are dealing with now is, as far as the midterms are concerned, is the whole Democratic Socialist movement.
That's a problem.
I mean, they're in a civil war. And,
no doubt.
Whoever comes out of those might be very damaged.
Yeah. When you have candidates tied to people who have made comments like, the United States deserved 9/11. You got a problem there.
I hate Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're going to cancel Thanksgiving. Well, she lost, which is interesting. Yeah. Very thin margin,
just
but
before
she lost,
though, she came out and was like, "Yeah,
I love Thanksgiving.
My favorite holiday."
Yes. In fact, I've already bought my turkey. I've got it ready to go. There's an interesting poll out. Speaking of the midterms. WNYT, Channel 13 in Albany, had commissioned a poll, and their pollsters say they have Constantino trailing. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Democrat holds a narrow lead over Constantino. Jen DeBean holds a small lead. Now, Constantino, playing it like a true Trump wannabe, says, I don't believe that poll. That's not real. We're up by 10 points. So we'll see where all of that goes, but we will speak with Jen DeBean later this morning, and I think that will be interesting. There's a new AI video out, Davey, that Constantino put out.
Yeah, Blake's claiming that it's false and
that it's not a real video.
Right.
The other thing is these AI videos that are coming out are so you can tell AI photos, AI videos, AI songs. Oh my God! And we're seeing it in some of our local races. Are you kidding me? Is this what we're going to be in for? I mean, it is just horrific. On the line now is speaking of someone who hates the horrific. And that is our man, Stefan Rubitsky. He was recently... you have two controversies, right?
Oh, dear Lord.
No. What happened? What happened, Stefan? What happened to you?
Well, I was on a national radio show.
That's true, yes.
America
I heard that.
at Night. With McGraw-Millhaven, a national radio show. I left a voicemail. You can leave voicemails on that show. And I asked him, is the U.S. going to follow the rules that Iran put forth to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Hummus?
And
when you crush the peas, make that dip.
That's a chocolate hummus.
And are we going to follow those rules and end combat and the war that's going on over there?
It's a news show, not a sports show?
It's a news show.
Okay, all right.
And he commented to that voicemail. He said, "No, we're not going to follow their rules. We're gonna put them in the Stone Age and bomb them to death." And then last night I was on, and I talked about Utica, New York. I was on live. And he said, how far is Utica from Cooperstown? Because in a few years, he's a big Cardinals fan, St. Louis. He wants to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame when Pujols gets inducted.
Nice. Well, that'll be awesome. He'll love it there. Yep.
Yes, he will. He said he was there when he was in college in Cooperstown at the induction, and he loves Cooperstown, so he asked if you have to go to Utica, New York to get to Cooperstown. He loves Utica.
All right. So then you got into it with somebody on, was it on a message, on the YouTube message board?
Yes, Tony Baloney is the guy's name. I said to him, I asked the candidate that is running for mayor, the guy that came out this week. I said I could do a better job than him. Then Tony Baloney commented that you'll never be mayor, you'll be locked up. I said I won't be locked up.
Yeah. Bull crap.
And then I took the high road and I ended the conversation.
Smart move. Taking the high road. I like it with Tony Baloney. Okay, well, Stefan, we appreciate the updates on both of these, and congratulations on getting on the national show there.
Well, thank you.
All right. Have a great day, Stephen. A great weekend.
Go Mets. Let's win 3 in a row here.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I think it can be done. I like us against the Nationals. Davey, you adding to that?
That used to be the old Jim Bohannon show.
Okay, that's what that is.
And we aired that on Sunday nights from 7 to 11 right here.
Okay, all right.
So here. when Stefan said he was taking the high road, I thought he meant he was walking over the North Genesee Street Bridge.
Yeah,
I thought that's what he was referring to.
High road.
The high road.
All right, Stefan, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Davey, we're up to Hobica's free money question of the day. And then I'm really excited about this next guest, Gus Pfisterer. He's from here. He's a documentarian and has created this documentary on the Little League World Series. And it's quite a great story. And it's an ESPN documentary. And he'll promote that and tell us all about it and his career coming up in a few minutes. First, though, Hobica's free money question of the day. Today, Davey is worth how much?
$300.
$300, okay. And you're looking for caller number what?
7.
7, okay. All right. Anybody want to add to that? Caller 7?
No.
You're good? Davey?
Yes.
Okay. Caller 7. All right, here we go. 315. Let's do it. What time is it? I got to find a clock in this room. 7:33 right now. Let's do an update on news, and then we'll do the free money question coming right up. So stand by. We'll be looking for caller 7. Not yet, though, so hold on.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
You wouldn't drive a car without suspension, so why mow without it? Ferris Commercial Mowers set the bar as the first and only manufacturer to integrate suspension into their mowers, allowing you to go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Whether you're a professional cutter or a homeowner that wants to mow like a pro, Ferris is there with the commercial-grade mowers to keep you going strong. Visit the Caledonia family today at Clinton Tractor to set up a test drive and feel the Ferris difference.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a US-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
Cloudy skies, 61 degrees. It is 7:36. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaske. Vice President J.D. Vance says the number one goal in the war with Iran is cheaper gas prices for Americans. The number two goal, he says, is to make sure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. In an interview with Fox News Thursday, Vance said he's confident the U.S. is accomplishing both of those goals, but that the Iranians are unpredictable. The World War II memorial is under guard after it was struck by vandals. The phrase, "clean hands, dirty money," was painted in red on the memorial. Bubbles were also found in the memorial fountain and pool, leading investigators to believe the bubble soap was poured into that water. An American missionary is free after months as hostage in northern Africa. Kevin Rideout was kidnapped last October outside of his home in the capital of Niger. It's unclear, though, who seized the 50-year-old missionary pilot. Accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione could plead guilty to federal charges in New York today. Mangione's lawyers and federal prosecutors are all staying quiet for now, but multiple reports say the two sides spent part of the week trying to hammer out a plea deal. Mangione is accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan in December of 2024. Flock. We've talked about this a bit in the city of Utica. Flock is adding new security features to its license plate scanning network after reports of law enforcement abusing the system. Dozens of officers have been accused of using the system for personal use, including stalking former partners. On Thursday, the CEO of Flock Safety announced new guardrails, such as requiring police to label each and every search with a case number and starting an automatic review of abnormal search activities. And arborists are trying to save a 300-year-old tree in South Carolina. The tree located at the battlefield location there, a historic battlefield location known as the Witness Tree, is linked to the Revolutionary War's final battle in the Carolinas, with British soldiers once camping at the site. Arborists are removing 50-year-old iron chains from the tree's bark and installing copper lighting protection to prevent future damage. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:38. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Plenty of good-looking weather now over the next couple of days. Going to just mention a thunder shower today, but I think a better chance by Sunday afternoon. We've already cleared out this morning, maybe some patchy fog around. Other than that, sunshine, a few clouds this afternoon, just that small chance of a thunder shower through this evening. Most of us nothing and near 80 degrees. We'll clear it tonight, low to mid-50s. North Country a little bit cooler. Some fog by morning. Patchy fog early Saturday, then sunshine 80. Likely showers and thunderstorms on Sunday, especially in the second half of the day. High 80. From the Weather Channel, Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Cloudy and 62 at 7:39.
All right, and Davey, you're taking caller 7 now, and we'll talk to Gus, right? All right, we're doing the free money question next. First, though, Manaske has, what do they call that?
Comments?
Sports. Here we go. Sorry.
Oh, hang on. What are you doing, though? 7:30.
Oh, you're right. He does not have sports.
What do you want to know?
shaking his
Yankees
head.
lost 1-0. They tried to
Why
sweep
this
last
is the second
night.
day I've done that?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why.
Mets didn't play last night. They're back in action tonight. The Yankees snapped their skid. Some preseason action tonight. Jets and Bucks.
I think the one thing we've not talked about in sports is the big motocross that's going on this weekend.
Unadilla.
What do they call that? The Thrilla? The Thrilla at Unadilla. And apparently that's a world-class race, by the way. And no matter where you are on that track, what makes this unique, and it's a natural track, is you really can see the race from wherever you are. So it's a pretty cool race to see if you're into that sort of thing. Caller number 7 is Bob in Whitesboro. Hello, Bob. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Bill.
Are you
I'm
ready?
doing well.
Okay.
I'm well. I'm
You're
ready.
doing well. You're playing for $300 today. That's pretty good. All right.
Let's do it.
We have no consolation for you, so you either win this or you're screwed. Okay?
All right. Yeah.
All right, here we go, Bob. You'll have 7 seconds to answer the question. Everybody ready? Here it is. Mrs. Brady, a.k.a., I guess she'd be a.k.a., so Mrs. Henderson, a.k.a. Mrs. Brady, was the legendary spokesperson for what cooking product? Ready, go.
Betty Crocker.
You got to get up early. You got to get up pretty early in the morning to win this contest. The answer is Crisco.
It is not Crisco.
It's not.
This was a trick question.
Wesson oil.
Oh, why do you do
Wasn't it
that?
Wesson? Wesson?
Why do you do this?
She was Miss Wesson Oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
And she'd sing about it. She'd come out there and sing and dance about it. You know, I got to tell you something. Man, in the 70s, we loved our frying oil.
Oh,
If
yeah.
it wasn't Crisco, it was Wesson. And we were all about it. So
Wasn't Carol Brady Florence Henderson a longtime spokesperson for Wesson Oil back in when
Yeah. We
she
got to
did
fix
TV
this speaker in
commercials?
there.
Hey, what's
Should
going
probably
on?
fix
Wait
this.
a minute.
Are we in a different
Bob.
time zone?
Bob,
What? No,
do you need to phone a friend? Davey's ready. He's ready. All right, Bob. You're right. And was her name Carol on the show? David?
Yeah, Carol Brady.
Carol Brady. Okay.
Florence Henderson.
You're right. And she was
Wesson Oil.
What kind of oil? Wesson.
Wesson.
Yeah. All right, Bob. If we ever ask that question of you again, you'll know the answer.
So will Davey.
No.
All right. You have a wonderful weekend. Okay, Bob? Thanks.
You too, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yes, Davey, you are absolutely correct. We had just said the answer, though. It was Wesson Oil. So, all right.
That's what I was saying. I said Carol Brady was the spokesperson for the Wesson Oil when she did the TV commercials.
Yes, but it's
Yeah,
like
that was
you're
the
on
question.
a 15-second delay. We had just said that prior to you saying it.
Okay.
Okay, that's the reason for everybody laughing. No one's laughing at you. We, damn it, are laughing with you. That's what we're doing. Okay, I am quite excited about this next guest. And he's from here, and we'll get all the details on all of that. But there is a new documentary that is coming out, and it is done by a local guy, Gus Pfisterer. He is a documentarian, and he's on the line right now. Gus, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you, sir?
We're doing well. And you now know that Mrs. Brady, Florence Henderson, was the spokesperson for Wesson Oil back in the day, if you care.
Absolutely, it's important.
It is important, right? If you ever get on Jeopardy, you never know.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, tell us your background. Are you from, is it New Hartford? I know you're from here. Give us a little of in a nutshell, your background story.
Yeah, I was born and raised in New Hartford, New York. My family's been there, forever, and started school in New Hartford, graduated from New Hartford High School. Sports were a big part of my life. I played baseball and football there. As I was, growing up and going through school, I decided that I was going to go to college in Connecticut at Sacred Heart University. So after Sacred Heart University, I graduated in the middle of the pandemic, and after everything subsided after the pandemic, I got my first job at ESPN in September of 2021, and I've been there ever since.
That's awesome. Now I'd like you to just take a moment to say hello to all of your family members who are listening right now. I've heard from many of them, all excited that you're going to be on the radio.
Hello, everybody. Mom, Dad, Grandpa, Uncle Philly, Max, Alex, everybody.
Everybody's
I'm
there.
They're here. They're here.
All right. So tell us about this. We've kind of been waiting on talking about this because ESPN and that made the announcement. But talk about the documentary.
Yeah. So what we're doing is a story called "Living On," the Michael Camerata story. Michael Camerata is a very unique individual. He played right field for the Staten Island South Shore Little League team that made it all the way to the Little League World Series in 1991. The team went on a pretty magical run. They made it to the U.S. championship game. Granted, at the time, there was only 8 teams that made it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, one of the best teams in the country, and they made it to the U.S. championship game. They didn't win, but made a really long run. On that team was, Jason Marquis, who played 15 years in the majors. Mm-hmm. But Michael Camerata is the member on that team that stands out to us. So Michael went on, a decade later after playing in the Little League World Series, to become a fireman in New York City. And he started in the May of 2001. And Michael was in training. He was a probationary fireman, and he got a call on the morning of 9/11, and he went to World Trade Center 3, which was the Marriott hotels in between the Twin Towers, and he ran into the building to clear out the upper floors of any occupants that were there, and unfortunately, when the buildings collapsed, Michael lost his life. So Michael holds a very unique place in a lot of aspects of the world. He's the only number to ever be retired in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the Little League World Series. So no child will ever wear the number 11 ever again.
I just have to say that just that alone, that just gives me chills when I hear that. I mean, and by the way, we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Believe that or not.
Absolutely. He's a remarkable individual. He's really a hero. And another aspect of Michael that's fascinating is he was 22 years old, and he's the youngest member of the FDNY to ever pass away in the line of duty. And from my research, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but he might be the youngest civil service fireman to ever die in the line of duty. That was a full-time. There was a couple volunteers who had lost their lives a little younger, but I believe full-time, he's the youngest fireman to ever die in the line of duty anyway.
Wow. It sounds like just an amazing story. And there are so many of those stories revolving around 9/11, but this is so unique because it's, the Little League World Series going on right now and all of this, but what a great way to, what a great story to dig into. What's one of the, as you dug in, and what was your takeaway from all of this?
I think there's a lot to take away from Michael's story. The main thing for me was, as we talked about, it's been almost 25 years now. And when I think about this story, yes, it's a story about the number being retired and his sacrifice on 9/11, but ultimately, to me, this is a story about Michael's legacy and what his impact has made 25 years later. Yeah. I mentioned the number. I mentioned the enshrinement in the Hall of Excellence, which is the highest honor in Little League Baseball. But before Michael passed away, he had a wish, and it was to make his spirit live on. And the crux of this story is really how the people who knew him best, his family members, his friends, his firehouse teammates, and also strangers, have honored that request 25 years later to make his spirit live on. And that's all he ever wanted. So throughout the reporting on this, there's a billion stories of how he shouldn't have been there that morning and how if things had gone differently, he would still be alive today. But the family and his brother Joseph, who's in the documentary, truly believes that all the outside forces brought him there that day, and he always wanted to be a fireman. That was his number one dream in life. and there was nothing that was going to stop him from being there that day. So the only way that they could properly honor him was to make his spirit live on. And, that's why we're still talking about this 25 years later, and hopefully for many years to come.
And by the way, this will debut Wednesday night on ESPN. I believe 9 p.m., right? On ESPN.
It's an all-American story, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, between Little League and being a firefighter and 9/11. As a matter of fact, Tunnel of Towers is this weekend in Utica.
Yes. Yeah. An all-American story, really, Gus.
No, absolutely. He was a true hero, and my grandfather was the deputy chief of police in Utica, so I've always been drawn to first responder stories, and I was a baseball player growing up, so when I heard about this story and found this story, it was just I've always been drawn to baseball. I've always been drawn to civil service, and this story just kind of hit me in a unique way immediately, and I fell in love with it, and luckily was able. The family's never told this story. This is the first time they've ever told the story. So getting their trust to be able to do that on a story that one means so much to me, and obviously so that they can carry on their brother and their son's legacy. It means the world to me.
We're speaking with Gus Pfister. He is from New Hartford. Has been with ESPN for several years. The documentary is Living On, the Michael Camerata story, which debuts Wednesday night on ESPN. Manaski.
I just wanted to mention, you mentioned that you're a baseball player as well. Just as we were talking, somebody sent me a screenshot. It looks like this is from LegionBaseball.com. Did you post a 400 lifetime batting average in Legion Baseball? I'm trying to get clarification on some of these stats.
You might have to check your sources on that one. I don't know if we ever got to 400, but I definitely played Legion Baseball. The numbers are a little blurry now these days, though.
It is. So I do wonder. And by the way, this is an untold story. I think you may have cracked a nut here that while this story is unbelievable and patriotic and selfless and all of what's going to come out of this story, just think of the number of people who played Little League baseball, and then let's look at those who made it on deep into the tournament and into the Little League World Series, and most of those people just kind of fade away into, I guess you'd call it history. They end up growing up and creating their own lives. But boy, I'll bet you there are unbelievable stories about kids who have grown up after participating in the Little League World Series. You may be onto something really big here.
Working with Little League Baseball has been tremendous. They have been over the top accommodating on everything for this story. We shot a lot of stuff down there, and they really opened the doors for us to have that opportunity to go down there and get everything we need and just be great teammates on this. But I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, this is one story. There's hundreds or maybe thousands of others. Something that comes up a lot in my research was the number 11 that's prevalent in the story. I mean, Michael wore number 11 in Williamsport. He was on ladder 11. His badge number was 1138. And then kind of the nail in the coffin was when I was reaching out for research to the Little League World Series, I asked them the question, since it started in 1947, how many kids have played there? And they told me 11,247. I think when people see this story, they'll see there's a clear and obvious connection between the number 11 in Michael's life. And that's something that I never knew, and I don't know if the family ever connected those dots until we really started digging in on it.
And then I wanted to ask you, by the way, debuting Wednesday night. After that, it'll stream on ESPN.com. And you'll be able to see it on all your streaming platforms. I'm asking, first of all, how did you sell this to ESPN for them to give you the green light? And what other? I mean, is that your role now at ESPN? Have you gone full in on the documentarian role?
So to answer your first question, every year ESPN posts the Red Bandana piece. For those not familiar, it's about Wells Crowler, who was a lacrosse player at Boston College, and he was one of the main face heroes of 9/11. He cleared the North Tower and saved plenty of lives that day. And Boston College honors him with this red bandana that he was famous for wearing.
Yeah.
So the ESPN posts that story every year.
Okay.
So I watch it every September 11th, and I always can learn something from that story, whether it's technique or music. There's always something to take away. So
yeah.
I was watching that story, and I never look at Twitter comments, and for some reason this day I did. And in the Twitter comments, somebody posted, "That's a great story, but what about the number 11 in Williamsport?" So that's how I found the story. I Googled number 11. I had never heard of this. And when I found it, I was obsessed with it. And that was 3 years ago. So
that's so cool.
I brought that to my executive producer and vice president at the time, Andy Tennant, and just said, "Hey, I found this story. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really impactful. I need to really do some more research on it and connect with the family. But I think we really have something here." And he gave me, all the confidence in the world to just pursue it. And, I just kept up with him over the years, and he ended up taking a new job, and we got some new leadership. And every, new vice president I met with, I would bring up this story and just kind of tell them what I'm working on. And enough people got interested in it that we got the green light from it to pursue it. But at that point, this was over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now, and we thought, well, I think it would be a lot more impactful if we did it for the 25th anniversary. That's how we decided to just kind of wait on it and report on it a little bit more, so that we could time it up to land on the 25th anniversary. And to answer your second question, I'm on our E60 and original content team. So this is the first documentary I've ever directed and produced for ESPN. I've been working on long form feature stories, 7 to 12 minutes for the last 4 years now at the company. So that's been my role mainly, is in that lane of 7 to 12 minute feature stories, and this is the longest project I've ever done. So it's a great opportunity, and obviously Jeremy Schaap is the reporter on this, who's become an extremely close friend of mine, and he's a New Yorker. So when I was looking for voices that could really passionately tell this story, Jeremy was the first one that came to mind, and as always, Jeremy delivered.
I do have to say, I'm wondering for you, I'm a video editor as well, and people, whether you're editing a 30-second commercial or a 12-minute piece or a 90-minute, 60-minute documentary, it's all very involved. People would not, couldn't imagine, most wouldn't be able to, how much goes into a 7 to 10-minute piece that you produce. How is that different when you entered into this long form documentary role?
Absolutely, and you couldn't have said it better yourself. Like, that's one thing that the family had just no idea what it took.
Yeah.
They bring it up all the time, like, "Oh, you're on another shoot? I can't believe you're doing this, doing that." And it's like, there is a lot that goes into this. But I've always thought of it as, when you're doing a 7 to 12-minute piece, you're telling the story in that time frame, and the techniques and the skills don't really change when you're doing longer. You just have the opportunity to not necessarily add in more content, but to go deeper on the content that you have. Whereas, in the story, when I'm telling the backstory about the team's run and stuff, in a 7 to 10-minute feature, I would do that in maybe a minute or a minute and a half. Whereas this one, since I have the extra, 12 or 15 minutes of runtime, I can go into like a 5-minute story about that. And really, to me, it helps the audience connect with the character itself. Like Michael obviously is not here to tell his story. And we have some archival materials I was able to find throughout the way to help do that. But all this extra time does is allow the viewer to connect more with the family, connect more with Michael. And it's definitely more challenging to do it longer, but it does present many more opportunities to...
As I explained to people who ask for something, you think 15 seconds is easier than 30? It's the opposite. It's harder to put something into little time. I hate to do this to you, but we are, speaking of time, out of it. Watch this Wednesday night on ESPN, 9 p.m. Gus, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Cases in 2 high-profile murders back in court in 2 states. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. One's a federal case in New York City.
In a few hours, we could see Luigi Mangione stand in front of the judge and admit to the 2 federal stalking charges that resulted in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
But it's not a plea deal with federal prosecutors who could still push for a life sentence for Mangione. Fox's Chanley Painter also reports from outside the court his lawyers may later use that plea to avoid a state trial because of New York's double jeopardy laws.
Prosecutors will have to successfully argue that the federal stalking charges are different enough from the state second-degree murder charges for their case to move forward.
In South Carolina, a hearing for Alec Murdaugh before a new trial, months after an appeals court overturned his convictions in the 2021 murders of his wife and son.
Some pretrial motions the judge is expected to consider include requests to move the trial to Charleston. Murdaugh's defense is arguing that intense media saturation and his family ties to the local legal system could sway the jury pool.
Fox's Nate Foy. The fight isn't over at the Kennedy Center in Washington after a judge ordered President Trump's name be removed, an attempt to put it back on and close the center for 2 years to renovate it.
Under a plan approved by the Performing Arts Center's board, made up largely of political allies of President Trump, also approved a resolution that would add lettering to the building's facade, reading the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump. Both decisions test a federal judge's ruling 2 months ago that ordered President Trump's name removed from the building and also blocked plans for the closure.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. While the U.S. and Iran both keep insisting they control the Strait of Hormuz shipping waterway, drones fired today at 2 more oil tankers in the strait, but nobody was hurt. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like U.S. Army Sergeant William Bernard McKenna, exposed to burn pits. McKenna later died from T-cell lymphoma, leaving his wife, Dina, and 2 daughters. Tunnel to Towers honored Sergeant McKenna. They paid off the family's mortgage in honor of all of his sacrifice. Donate $11 a month. If you have a car to donate, if you have land to donate, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org today.
There are new Fox News polls and 2 Senate races key to the midterm election battle for control of Congress. In Michigan, a week after progressive Abdul El Sayed won the Democratic Senate primary, he trails Republican Mike Rogers by 4 points. 54% of Michigan voters surveyed call El Sayed too extreme, though 51% also say Rogers is too closely aligned to President Trump. In Ohio,
Republican Senator John Husted, appointed to the role when then Senator J.D. Vance became vice president, trails his Democratic opponent Sherrod Brown by 8 points. Brown is mounting a comeback after losing his seat to Bernie Moreno in 2024. And now Brown has more enthusiasm, with 97% of Democrats saying they'll vote for him. 87% of Republicans say they'll vote for Husted. While 44% said they were concerned about Brown's ties to the Democratic establishment, more than half of of voters were concerned with Houston's ties to the president. Inflation and high prices were by far the biggest concern. 40% say it's the most important issue, followed by healthcare at 14%. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
A hurricane warning is up for Hawaii's Big Island as Tropical Storm Lala churns near, forecast to grow into a hurricane today.
It approaches and passes either over or near the Big Island on Saturday. If it makes a landfall, it'll be only the 7th landfalling storm or hurricane in the Hawaiian Islands in about 75 years, so it's unusual.
Fox Weather's Mike Seidel in Hilo. Parts of Europe keep sweltering with more triple-digit heat.
Thursday was the hottest day of the year in the United Kingdom, and Britain's weather service says West London got up to almost 101 degrees Fahrenheit. Both Britain and France are going through their 5th heat wave of the year. French meteorologists say temperatures across the country have gotten as high as 106 degrees. Some relief, though, may be ahead. Forecasters say the most intense heat is expected to move eastward away from Britain and France on Friday.
That's Fox's John Saucier. On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed ahead of the opening bell and a report on retail sales. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
All right, 63 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. It is 8:05. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. Utica police receiving positive identification this week on human remains that were found near the Utica Marsh. Those remains were discovered earlier this summer. The remains are those of 71-year-old Raymond Warmuth. The confirmation coming from the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office. Warmuth was reported missing locally in November of 2024. Utica police officials are now asking anyone with information to come forward. They say they are still trying to determine the cause, manner, and time frame of Warmuth's death. Utica councilperson Samantha Colosimo Testa introducing a pair of proposals, one regarding public safety, the other economic development. First, she'd like to modernize the city's synthetic cannabinoid law. She says since being enacted in 2012, synthetic drugs have rapidly changed in chemical composition, name, and marketing. And Testa says the laws need to be keeping pace with today's evolving market. Additionally, she and Councilman Joe Beatrice introducing a resolution to encourage Mayor Galimi to proactively communicate with BJ's representatives about their future in North Utica. This after reports that BJ's may be planning to open a facility in New Hartford. Earlier this week, the Oneida County Board of Legislators moved to ban kratom and its sale in the county. By a unanimous vote, the board voted to ban the sale of kratom and kratom-derived products. While it is often found in gas stations and convenience stores, health officials say its effect on the brain is similar to opioids, and that product is prone to addiction and overuse. There will be an upcoming hearing on the issue before the law is enacted. $62 million in state funding being invested in key infrastructure in the city of Utica. 2 bridges on North Genesee Street will be replaced, and both are more than 60 years old. There will also be the addition of pedestrian walkways. They include shared use paths on both sides of North Genesee Street for bikers and walkers. The project includes new lighting, drainage, curbside, sidewalks, and signage along that stretch of roadway as well. And this Sunday, August 16th at 9:11 a.m., the annual Tunnel to Towers 5K run and walk will be taking place. We were just talking with Gus Pfisterer about the story of a Little Leaguer who went on to be a firefighter and ultimately lost his life on 9/11. The Tunnel to Towers 5K run this Sunday begins at 9:11 in the morning. The participants will begin the event at the 9/11 Memorial near Sherman Place and the Parkway and ultimately finish on Genesee Street near Devereaux Street by the State Office Building. City road closures along the Parkway, Oneida Street, Genesee Street, and some adjacent side streets will commence at 6 o'clock Sunday morning, and Genesee Street will remain closed through late afternoon on Sunday. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:08. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
Plenty of good-looking weather now over the next couple of days. Going to just mention a thunder shower today, but I think a better chance by Sunday afternoon. We've already cleared out this morning, maybe some patchy fog around. Other than that, sunshine, a few clouds this afternoon, just that small chance of a thunder shower through this evening. Most of us nothing and near 80 degrees. We'll clear tonight, low to mid-50s. North Country a little bit cooler. some fog by morning. Patchy fog early Saturday, then sunshine 80. Likely showers and thunderstorms on Sunday, especially in the second half of the day. High 80. From the Weather Channel, Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, some sunshine, 64 degrees at 8:09.
Listen, I just want to bring one thing up on the story about BJ's. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think BJ's said they're moving to New Hartford. And I do think it's a good move that Utica is stepping up and talking about the importance of keeping BJ's where it is. But I think BJ's is adding a location. I haven't seen anything that made me believe they were moving North Utica to New Hartford.
Right. In this
and
resolution,
can I tell you why?
Yeah.
They would, but one of their BJ's big profit makers is their gas station, and that is a perfect location for people going up Route 12. I don't think they want to lose that location.
That's a fair point. I think I called it a resolution. The actual,
I just think the wording in the story said BJ's moving their location to New Hartford.
Well,
I think
that would
adding.
be my fault. That was my language.
Okay, all right.
Let me see here.
I didn't know if they had changed that.
Let's see. The project. No, that's not it. That BJ's may be planning to open a facility in New Hartford.
Yes.
Okay. And I didn't say that moving it, but they plan to open one. And this is from Testa and Beatrice. This is, let me get the language right. It's a resolution encouraging the mayor to open up a conversation just to make sure that they're staying or what their plan is.
I agree. I think you got to be, right? I mean, you got to be ahead of this. Get ahead of this.
Absolutely.
Because it would be a big loss.
Absolutely.
Right? No, I think that from what I understand is the BJ's moving to New Hartford or being added to New Hartford. We got to be careful how we say it. I think one of the main reasons why they're doing it is they want their gas. They want to be able to sell their gas in New Hartford.
That's the commercial corridor.
And if you are a member of BJ's, you save significantly on the gas.
How significantly? Are you a member?
We are. We have like a family membership, and it's a significant. You'll save 8-9 cents.
It's interesting
on a gallon.
There's quite a variance currently, and I understand there's some gas wars going on right here, right on River Road here. But like, for instance, on Commercial Drive, there are several stations that are, well, there's 3 that I can think of that are between like $4.23 and $4.29. But the 2 stations that we're close to right now, one is $4 a gallon, regular, no membership, and the other's $3.98. I mean, that's a 30-cent swing.
Yeah.
So I want to say I drove by BJ's like over the weekend, and their price was like $4.02, and it was actually like a penny cheaper on River Road here.
Well, they're not going to beat a gas war, and this place being new here on River Road is trying to compete with the fast track up the street. So, but overall, those are always
the lowest prices is usually BJ's. Yeah,
yes,
I agree.
You usually get the lowest price, and if you're buying stuff from there, it does. I'm trying to sell you the BJ's membership, but if you're buying stuff from there, it pays. And they have really good frozen meats and that sort of thing that you can get at BJ's. This has been brought to you by BJ's.
I was just going to say, I was waiting for you to finish, and I was going to say this portion of the program is brought to you by.
I wish I got a kickback from that, because I didn't get a kickback from this either. But last night was my son's birthday, and he picked where we were going, Utica Crab and Boil Cajun seafood restaurant.
Oh, I've heard good things.
We were there, and I got to tell you, it was really good. It's in, I guess I'd call it the Alex Carbone empire over there. He's got a whole plaza, which is pretty much, I'll tell you something, you couldn't find a parking place over there. It was packed. Really? The fitness mill and everything else. I'm assuming everybody's doing their laundry. And it was my wife, the TV commercial came on, and she's like, wow, that is an awesome laundromat. We sound like
I used a laundromat. I stopped by. I had a big rug that kind of
that's perfect for that.
Done.
Yeah.
It's impressive what he's got there.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do your laundry for you and fold it and the whole 9 yards.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Get out of here. You don't do it yourself?
No, we do our own laundry.
No, I don't mean you. But I mean, I'm sorry, not
No,
you.
you can.
When you go into this laundromat, you don't do it yourself?
No. You can do it yourself. But they also have it's a little personal, isn't it? You can do it yourself by putting the coins in or credit card swipe, whatever they do today. But they also offer an additional service where they'll do your laundry for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just like Mama, huh?
That's
Fluff and fold.
Maybe even better then. I'm just saying. Anyway, Utica Crab and Boil is over in that plaza. And I got to say, there was one where the diner is, the new diner. Is that Creekside? What's the name of that diner in New Hartford now?
Where they went in where the Ponderosa
across
was.
from NBT Bank, yeah.
Yeah, that's Creekside.
That's Creekside. Let me tell you, that place, I always used to think that location, no matter what they put in there, it will die. Because if you remember, they had like a lobster boil in there for a while, and it did no business. They opened up during COVID, and the place was always empty. This Creekside?
No, it's isn't it Castlewood?
Castlewood. Castlewood.
Creekside's over by Tony's in Washington Mills.
Castlewood, and it is always packed. Like,
that's a good place.
Huge traffic.
Actually, both of those.
And the food is really good.
Creekside and
Creekside
Castlewood
is good too. They're both really good. Sorry about mixing that
Great,
up.
three unpaid ads. Great job.
Yeah, and all unpaid. And this Utica Crab and Boil, you can do the thing where it comes out in a giant plate, and it's for like a family of 4 or 5, and then there's one for like 7 or 8. And I wouldn't call it cheap, but you're getting seafood. It's fresh, and I felt like the lobster boil that was in New Hartford. You would smell like garlic for 3 days after you ate there. It would be coming out of your pores. This, nothing like that. I thought that the seasoning was really well balanced, is what I will say.
Well, we know the smell didn't get caught in your hair. We know that.
It did not get caught in the hair. Did not. All right.
So real quick, we've mixed up a couple things this morning. I'll forego sports and just say this: Yankees lost last night, shut out 1-0. Mets will play tonight against the Nationals.
Need to do this. Yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. The Field of Dreams game was last night.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber led it off with a home run. He actually hit 2 on the night. The Phillies took down the Twins 7-1.
Does that replace what was going on in Cooperstown?
I wouldn't say replace because that game counted last night.
Oh, it was a real game.
It was a real game. Yeah. And they only do it like the last one was 4 years ago.
Well,
it was Yankees White Sox,
and they built a stadium just for this. So okay.
I want to mention some preseason football. Bills play tomorrow against the Panthers. Josh Allen will be under center at least for the first quarter.
I love to hear he's playing. I like it a lot. Davey, where do you stand on that? Josh Allen plays first quarter. Mistake or a good idea?
No, not a mistake. Remember last year, McDermott didn't play any of his starters.
I know. That's the point. The year before.
Yeah. So,
Guess what? If he gets hurt, it'll be the biggest mistake ever.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get hurt, and it'll be brilliant. So,
Giants play tomorrow. Their opener against the Vikings, and the Jets will host the Buccaneers tonight in their preseason opener as well. Go ahead, Smith.
Is that game going to be on TV if you don't have like the box or just regular cable?
Bills?
The Bills?
Yeah,
because I know it will be on my TV because Channel 9 out of Syracuse usually puts them on WSYR.
Yeah, I think you're going to see it on like
usually
WPNY or something like that. Usually gets those games. I don't know who has it tomorrow night.
Rocky in Utica says, for the first time this morning, I have to disagree with Bill. I'm afraid I have no faith whatsoever in Bernie. He's talking about Bernie Sanders.
That was yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sue says, when Biden left office, gas was $3.24 a gallon. I think that's accurate. Maybe not to the penny.
Yeah, I mean, it was COVID. I mean, it was the inflation that occurred. It was all of that. That's where that whole thing came from.
Okay, so a couple of other comments here. I did just hear from Samantha Clausen-Motesta. She says that regarding the BJ's location, they said they have not confirmed whether they would close the North Utica location. She says that's the issue, just trying to get ahead of it.
I think it's brilliant. Brilliant.
QAnon John says this morning here, I want to go back to QAnon
Speaking of
John.
brilliant, QAnon
He
John.
says the so-called vaccine, COVID, voting fraud, Biden being taken out, Kamala coming in,
Can you stop
Kamala
on
losing. I can go on and on. He's talking about predictions he made that were true or that he knew about.
Okay, first of all,
I want to know in advance, not now.
First of all, you weren't true on the vaccine. The vaccine did work. In fact, Ted Cruz just came out and had to retract a tweet that he put out about vaccines and miscarriages. Absolutely no evidence to support such a thing, and he removed it. The vaccine is successful, and QAnon, John, President Trump has gotten every single vaccine. So while he allows you to go off on your rant about freedom and how it's not successful and it's killing people, secretly, quietly, your president is getting the vaccine.
So
we would expect the president of the United States to get the best health care, wouldn't we?
We would. And the best advice.
But sorry, I've changed my mind. I'm going to start following my medical advice. I'm going to start following QAnon John. I think he'll be my new medical leader.
So John's in the know. I'm not disputing that.
Yes,
John says he's in the know. So let me.
That I'm not disputing. He says he's in the know.
Will J.D. Vance be the Republican nominee? If so, will J.D. Vance win? You said earlier this morning or yesterday, watch what happens with J.D. Vance. What does that mean? He'll be the nominee or he won't? He'll win or he won't? Who will be the Democratic nominee? Will it be Kamala? And I have a question for you as well.
Please.
Who? I saw some poll that said she was the top. By support, she was the top getter.
Yes.
Who's going to win NY22? I'd like to know who wins NY22.
That's a good one.
With Transgender Bean later this morning on the program.
Well, he's on the line now, and you can.
Oh, well, that's my Trump impression there.
Let's bring him in.
He's Transgender Bean. Good morning, Blake. How are you?
For the record, that's Manaski's Trump impression, and he always has a nickname for everyone, and that's
That means you've arrived.
Your Trump impression nickname, just for the record. So.
Good morning, guys. I hadn't heard that one yet. I'm too busy working.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, good.
For what it's worth, I made it up myself. So
let me bring in instead of breaking, let's just keep it moving here. Blake Gendabine is a Democratic candidate for NY21. It is quite interesting. We've been seeing a lot of Constantino's material, if you will, some of which is real, some of which is AI, and I know there's I haven't looked at the ad yet, but I'm assuming, have you seen the latest video on Blake Gendabine? That was the latest headline that I received, and I didn't click on it, but I'm told it might not be real. What do we know here, Blake? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill. Good morning, guys. It's a real pleasure to be here. We are crisscrossing the district again because that's what we do. We're in Lake Placid and heading down to southeastern corner of the district now. And Anthony put out a deep fake. People know they don't like that stuff. He can't run on his own ideas, right? So he's manufacturing mine. He took real footage from months ago of me calling for the release of the Epstein files and which still needs to be done. And he turned it into a monstrous, disgusting thing. And so it shows that he's not fit to be a congressperson. He spends too much time in front of a computer screen and not enough time actually working.
One of the commercials that I have seen talks about how you hate American workers.
Yeah, I want to know more about that hatred.
Please. And I know where that came from. We've discussed this. But talk about that, if you could.
Right. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think it comes from an interview I did almost 15 years ago as a young farmer. I'm not a politician. I wasn't a politician then. So it just mischaracterizes my words about how difficult it is for farmers to find help. And I'm not alone in this. I have an army of farmers that are supporting me because we need solutions to make sure that we can provide good food for people up and down the East Coast. And what he's trying to do is distract people from the fact that the North Country and upstate New York knows that my campaign is the one that's going to represent them. I understand what it's like to feed 3 hungry boys as a young family. I understand what it's like to have my mother, who had a stroke, all the way in Albany, 5 hours away from home. And what I hear over and over again is that my friends and neighbors in upstate New York and the North Country reject partisan politics. They want somebody who's going to work together for once and not be a rubber stamp for either party. Let's make sure that the Chobani plant in Rome happens successfully. Let's roll out the red carpet and let's get that done. That's what people want. They're tired of this garbage, the partisan garbage.
You know, Blake, the last time you were on the program, we did touch on that website and some of the quotes there, and you reacted to them. But I just wanted to follow up to say, after we had you on, I believe it was the next day, we talked with a local farmer. Ben Simons was in. And Farmer Ben, yeah. And he's, you know, I don't think I'm speaking out of school here. I think he's a pretty strong Trump supporter. But he agreed with a lot of the points that you made in regard to, you know, whether it's high school kids or college kids who are working during the summer break, or even young men in their mid-20s, they don't seem to have the motivation that somebody who's migrated here thousands of miles from Mexico specifically for the purpose of working a farm, they don't seem to have that same motivation that these migrant workers have, and he gets more yield out of, you know, a day's work from a migrant worker than he does from a college student who might be checking his phone every 20 minutes.
Right. Now, we've got great high school kids that have worked on our farm for years. I have relationships with these guys. They are like family. The issue is it's just getting harder and harder to find them. And I think there are fewer and fewer farms. So
yeah,
there
that's
are fewer and fewer kids that grew up on farms that know what it's like. And so, like I said before, I've got an army of farmers that are looking for common sense solutions. Yes, we've got to secure the border. That's critically important. Yes, we want to deport violent criminals who are here illegally. But the part we're missing is the common sense solution to make it so that people from around the world who want to bust their butts and make this country awesome can come up with a legal solution so that we can have the workforce that we need, not just for agriculture, but for healthcare and hospitality and many other industries. And when you do that, you can drive down cost from the farm gate to the dinner plate by being more efficient. And isn't this all about coming up with ways for everyone in upstate New York and the North Country to be able to afford to live? That's what I'm talking about, and I'm going to work with anybody, Republican or Democrat, to get that done.
You know, we all have talked about these are jobs that Americans don't want to do. And if I'm correct, that's what you were talking about when you gave that interview some years ago. And I don't think that's necessarily changed. That's why it's difficult for farmers to hire help on farm help, because a lot of Americans don't want to do those jobs.
That's exactly right. A lot of Americans don't want to do those jobs, but there are people that do want to do them, and we need them completed. We need people so that we can provide food for everyone up and down the East Coast and in New York's 21st District.
This is Tim Reed.
Hey, good morning, Blake. So I hear what you're saying in regards to, you know, we just can't get the workers in regards to it. So in your perfect world, how would we set up some sort of a refugee program in regards to kind of making that happen? How do you have any like specific ideas in how it would work?
Sure. Yeah. So as the vice chairman of the board for Agrimark, it's a $1 billion dairy cooperative that owns the flagship brand Cabot cheese, which is fantastic, by the way.
Yes.
We're one of the co-op members there. And I've been going to national meetings, talking to farmers from around the country. And what we need in livestock especially is to support a current existing bill that's beginning called the Ag Workforce Development Bill. And what it does is it provides for a guest worker program tied to employment. And everybody can get behind that because we support people who want to work hard. And whether or not it's 12 months, whether or not it's 24 months, it's a legal program that's supervised, and it provides for a secure workforce. And I say this over and over again, we've got an army of farmers that are desperate for common sense immigration reform. I've met with Texas Farm Bureau. I've met with Minnesota Farm Bureau. I've met with New York Farm Bureau. And everybody says the same thing. Labor is the biggest issue to making sure that we can deliver healthy, affordable food to people in upstate New York and northern New York. And we've got Chobani also. So at Agrimark, we have food processing facilities as well. And if we don't have the necessary help to run those facilities 24/7, the cost to make that food goes up. And so we're going to have this amazing investment in Rome, $1.2 billion, the largest food processing investment in American history, as I understand it. It will provide for 1,000 jobs and part of redevelopment of the Air Force Base. We're going to need people, and it's going to require programs that we can get it done. But like I said before, we've got to secure the border. We have to make sure that we do deport criminals who are performing violent crimes, get them out of here. But we have to streamline the legal process, and that's what we're not doing. But that's what everybody wants to do. And people know that I'm the candidate that can get that done.
All right. I'm going to ask you.
I want to ask how you would support, I guess, the individuals who fall in between the scenario you just laid out. So if somebody has their working papers, whether it's a working visa or they migrated here, and the U.S. government says, yes, you're welcome to come work farms in this country for 12 months or 24 months, whatever the case might be. Once that time is expired, and I think this is part of the conversation nowadays, it's like somebody overstayed their visa or they're not here actually legally, but they also haven't robbed a bank or killed anybody or sex trafficked anybody. What do you do with those individuals? What do you think they should do when it comes to somebody's overstayed, they came here to work, but now that 12-month period is up, so if there is an interaction or if ICE finds them, I mean, should they just be able to stay until they want to go home, or should we say your 12 months is up, you need to go back home?
No, there are rules of enforcement, and at the end of your guest worker program, you've got to either go back, you have to touch back to your home country and re-enroll, or you've got to go to a consulate representing your country and re-enroll. And if you don't do that, then you have to face the consequences.
Right. And I think
which is deportation, right?
The problem is we as a country politically have kicked the can down the
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Continuously and
over and over again
without fixing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And as a farmer in the North Country, we don't do that. We don't kick the can down the road. We look for solutions that are good for upstate New York and the North Country. And I say it over and over again because it's real and it's true. This is where I'm from. I am born and raised here. Every part of this district to me is awesome. And I'm going to work with anybody to do the right thing that's going to come up with solutions, even if it's difficult. That's the difference between true leadership and somebody who just wants the glamorous opportunity.
There was a poll released by WNYT, Channel 13 in Albany. It has you up with a narrow lead over Constantino. Constantino says he's up by, a dozen points, and this poll is bogus. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's an independent poll, and it shows that we're winning by 4 points. And what I'm really pleased with is that it's a bipartisan poll, and it shows that my message of wanting to do what is best for the North Country is the right, in upstate New York, is the right message, because there were more Republicans asked, then Democrats, and we're still winning by 4 points. And so that tells me that people want to hear, let's just get stuff done. And that makes me very happy, because that's where I am naturally. On the farm, when my neighbor has a problem, we don't ask what your party affiliation is. We just solve problems. And that's the type of congressperson I want to be.
I'm interested, we're about to get into this campaign hot and heavy, certainly once we hit Labor Day. And up to this point, Constantino had been quite busy with his opponent in the Republican primary. And now he's going to focus on you, and whether we get an AI video or whatever, what is he going to uncover and release to the public that's going to make people say, oh, so that's something I didn't know about Blake Gendebien. That's the little secret that has been hidden away. I mean, how is he going to dirty you up? And do you have anything in your past? Let's get it out right now. Let's just, I'm going to control the message. I'm going to get it out before he does. What do you have?
You know what he's going to find out? He's going to find out that I have a beautiful wife who is my best friend. He's going to find out that we have 3 boys who are awesome. He's going to find out that we've got an amazing farm where we milk 500 cows, farm 1,200 acres. He's going to find out that this district is very important to me, and I'm going to work with anybody to make sure that it's an absolute success. And he's going to do whatever it takes to distract from that. And the only thing he can do is create deep fake AI videos that will put words into my mouth. And we know that people just find that stuff really awful.
Final question that I have here is, this is, while this is a very rural district, it includes Watertown, it includes Rome, and 2 very important military assets. What will you bring to the table to make sure that these facilities are secure and remain a big part of upstate New York's economy?
They are a huge part of upstate New York's economy, and we need to make sure, and they do share something, Rome shares something in common with Plattsburgh, and that's redevelopment of the assets that are still there, right? So I want to be involved in redevelopment of the assets that are still there. I want to be involved in supporting Griffiths Air Force Base and making sure that we don't lose any more and perhaps try to bring more back. And Fort Drum is a huge part of the upstate New York and North Country economy. I will be right there, step by step, with the greatest Army post in the nation, in my opinion, to make sure that it continues to be vibrant and viable and effective for years to come. And we have more veterans in New York's 21st district than any other district in the state, and they need to be supported, because the promises we made to them for defending our country and making this country great need to be kept. And it's all in support of the greatest district in the state, New York's 21st district.
Ann in Rome, I'll squeeze one more in here, has a question.
That's what I was going to ask. Thank you.
Wants you to, what do you think of the essay? And are you worried about some of the Democrat socialism that seems to be popping up around the country, and some of the rhetoric that's gone along with that? We're hearing things like 9/11, America deserved 9/11, Thanksgiving should be eliminated, et cetera, et cetera. Where do you stand on this, on what's going on in the Democratic Party?
So I live 6 hours away from New York City. I don't know anything about what's going on down there. I had never even heard of DSA until a few months ago. This is out of my wheelhouse. I think that some of that stuff is absolutely nuts, and I'm not afraid to say it. And circling back, none of it makes sense for the North Country. And, my wife escaped communism as a kid. She left Cuba. And as a kid escaped communism. I can pretty much guarantee she didn't do that to be with a socialist or a communist. So I reject a lot of those things, and I'm focused on what's best for the North Country.
Blake Gendabine, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and we will do this again.
You got it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Bill.
All right,
Always enjoy chatting.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend.
Bye-bye.
All right. You want to comment quickly before we break?
So he's not for the DSA saying free the cows.
Apparently not. We learned a little something there too. I did not realize that his wife was Cuban. I did not know that. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Davey, you want to add to that?
I had a chance 4 Saturdays now. I had a chance to meet Blake and his wife at Rome before they did the On America Day parade, and he texted me and asked me if I'd come down and have a one-on-one. I met his wife and him and one of his sons. Great people.
Nice.
Davey said it was very nice to meet all three, but he asked for a picture with the wife.
No, I didn't get any pictures. I didn't get no
autograph.
Just teasing, Smitty.
My line was going to be is he asked him for money. And come on, Davey, I'm just having fun. We got to end the week with a chuckle after this week, for God's sakes. All right, listen, there you have it. And that poll has him up, and it is a bipartisan poll. You have to weigh more. If you're doing a poll in 21, and you don't include independents and lean Republican, that poll will not be accurate. So
I was surprised his saying that the district has more veterans than any other district in the state. I mean, I would have thought New York City. I mean, downstate or whatever it is, that there's a significant amount of veterans.
Yeah,
I thought maybe that's as a percentage.
Yeah, maybe
I don't
per
know.
capita.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Blake Gendabine, we have reached out obviously to Anthony Constantino, who I believe we will have next week. This is going to be an interesting race, right? Very, very interesting. Quick break. Let me tell you about Insera's Flooring Outlet. Sal at Insera's has plenty of reasons why this is the best stop for flooring. And for me, I would start with my own reason. They're a flooring business. That's all they deal in. They're experts when it comes to flooring. They have the most inventory when it comes to flooring. They have the best brands like Shaw and Mohawk, Mannington, just a few there. They will beat or meet any local price advertised in the area. And it's the service. They are flooring. They understand it. They will help you set up your projects so you're not overbuying. You're getting just the right amount of what you need. And when it comes to installation, they are there for you as well. 6 months, interest-free financing, qualified buyers, and Sarah's Flooring Outlet. Unrivaled service and experience. And that makes them the only stop you should consider when it comes to flooring. Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and sarahsflooringoutlet.com.
Little Falls Lumber has everything you need for home improvement season. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors. Available in 12-foot lengths and affordable solutions for sheds, garages, and roof repairs. Tired of digging through warped boards at the big box stores? At Little Falls Lumber, you'll find only premium grade lumber, hand-selected for quality. They also carry roofing, siding, windows, doors, and much more. Visit Little Falls Lumber in Little Falls in Syracuse. Call 315-823-2470 or go to littlefallslumber.com.
You know you want one. A Bad Boys mower isn't just another mower. It's second to none. It's an American-built machine with heavy-duty U.S. steel and shipped straight to Bob's Bad Boys mowers, never sitting around in a warehouse. That means when you're ready to mow, your bad boy is ready to go. And when the job's done, we're still here with expert sales, service, maintenance, and warranty support. Stop by Bob's Bad Boys Sales and Service, 6419 Middle Road in Munnsville. Call 315-264-2781 or visit bobsbadboys.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ziprecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey man, thanks for coming so fast. I couldn't get anyone else to pick up.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. I'm not complaining though. Business is way up lately.
Wow, good for you. I've been trying to grow my accounting practice, but it's been pretty slow.
Yeah, I was in the same boat last year. What really helped me was checking out this site, mylocalcustomers.com.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, well, most people haven't. It gives you a look at how many people in town are searching for what you do, and it also provides a plan to help them actually find you.
Like online?
Exactly. It's eye-opening, and it only takes a couple minutes to get started.
Huh, well, you fixed my sink. Maybe you just fixed my business too.
Want to know how many people in your area are searching for your type of business? Start with a local customer analysis at mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, it's easy, and it's free. Go to mylocalcustomers.com today.
That's mylocalcustomers.com. mylocalcustomers.com.
Hi, this is Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. If you're interested in keeping up with events and news in the Mohawk Valley region, I have the show for you. It's called This Week in the Mohawk Valley, and it airs every Sunday on WIBX. Join us as we talk with area business leaders, elected officials, law enforcement, educators, and more. Don't miss This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIBX 950 a.m. 92.3 FM.
This is Dan from Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, across from Texas Roadhouse. Get years of summer fun for you and your family with a new above-ground pool starting at just $89.99 installed. You can take advantage of our 0% in-house financing. We can have your new pool installed in about 10 days. Don't let the summer pass you by. If an in-ground pool is your dream, the experts at Acme will guide you through the process. There's nothing better than enjoying summer in your backyard with an in-ground pool. Don't miss out on our midsummer sale with above-ground pools starting at $89.99 installed within about 10 days with our in-house 0% financing. Or let the experts at Acme guide you through selecting a custom in-ground pool, choosing from steel or fiberglass options. That's Acme Pool and Spa on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, and our midsummer pool sale going on now. We do the work, you just enjoy.
Little Falls Lumber has everything you need for home improvement season. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors. Available in 12-foot lengths and affordable solutions for sheds, garages, and roof repairs. Tired of digging through warped boards at the big box stores? At Little Falls Lumber, you'll find only premium grade lumber, hand-selected for quality. They also carry roofing, siding, windows, doors, and much more. Visit Little Falls Lumber in Little Falls in Syracuse. Call 315-823-2470 or go to littlefallslumber.com.
It doesn't matter the weather or the time of day. When he says go, you go. And when you both spot that shiny new toy on the car lot, AmeriQ makes it easy to apply. Now that's a smooth ride. And an even smoother ride for this guy. Apply for an auto loan and enjoy the ride with no payments for 90 days. Get started at AmeriQ.org. Limited time offer. Membership eligibility is required. Insured by NCUA.
Did you know your most treasured rugs can look new again? At ABC ChemDry, we specialize in premium area rug cleaning. From treasured family heirlooms to fine rugs from around the world, our trained specialists use a careful 5-step process inspecting, dusting, cleaning, drying, grooming, and protecting, so your rug always gets the expert care it deserves. Don't wait. Call ABC ChemDry today at 315-738-1111 to schedule a drop-off or pickup.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Alrighty now. All right, it's the final moments. Anybody comment on? Anybody want to add anything on Gender Bean? Anybody have?
Let's see here. Rocky says each congressional district has approximately 760,000 people. So what Blake is saying is that his district comprises a higher percentage of military members than any other district. Question mark. I believe that's what he's saying.
Well, you have Plattsburgh,
in New York.
we have Watertown and Rome. So interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. I was there just the other day doing that VIP treatment. It's like a flu type, whatever was going on.
Yeah.
He's just pushing it out. Everything's flowing like it's never flowed before.
Like Wesson Oil.
Like Wesson Oil. The Falcon Clinic. It's the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. And what I like is you can make a phone call and you're having an issue and they'll see you. They give you the time that you need. It's not a quick 10 minutes and out. And they're accepting new patients. Dr. Cheryl Mattern. I have family members that have made appointments with her, Dr. Kosminski, Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, and others, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. 315-507-4751. Bum. Anything else?
Well, as I'm scrolling here, something said to me, I want to mention this now. Taking offense isn't a defense. This was Katie Aiello's video about the article on the New York Post, and somebody pointed out to me, and they said she had a lot of blame for the Galimi administration about why people maybe weren't coming here or didn't want to come here or whatever the case might be. And someone said to me, well, she's located from Herkimer County to Utica since Galimi
so
took
apparently
office.
Galimi lured her to the city.
That was one.
Yeah, all right. So Utica is now +1. Apparently,
I guess
yeah.
so.
I found that her interpretation of what was going on during the Palmieri administration was a bit overblown. Billions of dollars in investment came into the area. People were moving here. Population was way up under Palmieri. And oh, by the way, networks around the world were doing stories about why people wanted to move here. And now that Galimi's in office, nobody wants to move here. Okay. Sorry, I'm not sure. I think your timeline is off just a little bit.
And also, didn't Alicia Keys did a song about Utica, right? This mayor's on fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was from Alicia Keys.
I believe executive produced by Paul Buckley. If you recall. In studio right now is Peter Coulter. Peter is a local author. Peter, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back on.
All right, you have you have a series. Talk about this TV series and what's going on.
So we started a Seed and Spark campaign to raise money or funds for the pilot episode. We have now passed the green light, so it is happening. We start shooting in September. And we owe that all to some local businesses here that were that put themselves out there and gave us that chance that we needed. And so Rhett's Card Utopia, I went there and those people, fantastic. I've never met people so nice.
Yeah,
you know, and they took a huge chance on us and gave us like a lot of the funding that we needed. Also, Luxus Botanicals in Rome also gave us another big push, and then Oscar Neats, one of the oldest pizza places in Utica.
Yeah. Well, one of the oldest in New York State.
Yeah, right.
In the country.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. But they gave us a good push too, and because of those three, we made it over the line. And fantastic.
What was
people.
the line? How much did you have to raise?
10,000.
Okay. All right.
And actually, I wanted to thank you too while I'm here because you were the first one to put me on the radio when I became an author.
Yeah.
And then it all became what it has now, and that was the goal. So thank you for the opportunity to come on the show.
Well, we thank you for coming in. Tell us about the pilot. Just a bit of the storyline.
Okay,
nutshell.
so the story gets picked based on the viewers. So on the Seed and Spark campaign, you can go on there and donate $15, and you get your vote for which episode you would like to see us shoot first. Because it's a horror anthology, we can start anywhere. So, and the goal is 12 of my episodes out of the 22 I want to film here. Use local businesses, local artists, local actors, and just kind of sort of put CNY on the map with a TV show.
Sure. And where will you pitch the show? Where is the show?
The show is going to get pitched at Showtime, different aggregators like Pluto, Tubi, and some bigger ones, Shudder, Screamify, things like that.
Okay. Very, very cool. And again, your favorite storyline? Which would you like to see be the episode 1?
I would love to see as episode. I mean, because we have so many stories of a vast collection of different things. I really think that the woman taking her husband out to sightsee, and then some mysterious things happen. I think that's my favorite one so far.
All right.
But we'll see. The audience gets to pick. So whichever one they feel is the best storyline, that's the one we're going to shoot.
And where do they go again?
Seed and Spark. So
Seed and Spark.
Yeah,
was that .com?
Yeah, seedandspark.com, and then look for Carrion Creek, CarrionCreek, and then you can just donate a small gift of $15, and with that $15 you get a vote, and you get a social media shout out from us too.
And then do you have like a little summary of what the
every
episode would look like?
Every episode is on there, and there's a synopsis to every episode, so you can read through them, and there's posters that go along with them too, so you can pick that, and it's caught on to people, and it's going to be a big thing, and
all right.
We're going to have some premieres around here, and in New York City we have 2 theaters that are ready to take us for the premiere, so that's good.
Very cool.
Things are moving.
Who is producing the
I am.
You are.
Yep.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
If somebody wants to be an actor or participate in some way.
just get a hold of me. Just get a hold of me right through Facebook, through Instagram. You can get a hold of Patrick Hale as well. He's the director, showrunner, through Facebook, Instagram, and just let us know. Say, hey, I'm an actor. I'm a musician. I would love to get a shot or an audition in the show, and we'll give you one. Like, just straight up, we'll give you one.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, good stuff. Go to the website and give, and we appreciate it. Have a
Thank
great
you
weekend.
so much, Bill.
Come back
Thanks,
and update
man.
us.
I definitely will. Thank you
you
so much.
Congratulations.
Guys. Thank you.
Let's see. I've got a few things. Steve Ponte Mazda, and then we'll wrap it up with comments. New 2026 Mazda CX-5 was worth the wait. It is an incredible vehicle, contemporary styling, and a larger touchscreen display, luxurious interior, and Mazda's commitment to advanced engineering, reliability, safety, and a fun-to-drive vehicle. They just had a report on Mazdas that came out in terms of safety, and Mazda is considered one of the, if not the, safest vehicles on the road today. And it all has to do with that when you're driving, you start to go off and, veer off the road, it'll bring you right back. It brings you right back in. Those safety features and others make it one of the best buys, according to Consumer Reports. Save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 2.9% APR financing on the new 2026 Mazda CX-5. See the dealership for details. As Rick always says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
Well, we have not had a ton of comments come through in the final 2 segments of the show. Let's see. Ann says, I have friends and family, including me, that work their way through college. Kids don't work because now we pay for free college. Stop encouraging bad behavior.
I don't mean to disagree with Ann, but listen, Blake Gendabine is correct when it comes to, there was a time when kids wanted to, one of your jobs, if you lived in the country, is you worked on a farm. You made a penny a bale or 2 cents a bale. None of that stuff exists today, and that's just not what these are not jobs people want to do. And what do you get when? And his complaint is a valid one. Is that when you do get someone, there's a substance problem. They don't show up. It's a different world today, and. You're not going to correct that with a snap of a finger. We need to fill these jobs, and farmers have relied on migrant workers in this area for decades, and it's become a real problem right now. This problem has to be solved.
So I just quickly, if I could disagree on that, I think that's a bit of a broad brush to say if I hire local, someone's going to have a domestic incident. Or
No, I didn't say that.
No, that was what Gendabine was accused of saying in those clips.
I see.
With the local people, they either have a domestic incident case or a
and
drug
what he's
addiction.
saying is, I keep his comparison, which is what he said to us, is I hire people who are local people up in northern New York, and I've had problems. I hire these immigrants. All they want to do is better their families,
right.
and they work, and oh, by the way, there were limits put on how long a farm worker could work. I think they gave it was like 28 hours or 30 hours. These workers were going to work for one farmer for their 30 hours and then going to work for another farmer for 30 hours. Right. I mean, they just want to work and raise money for their family. What employer wouldn't want that?
Yeah, I do agree with the point.
It's not to say you're going to get crazy people who just so happen to be immigrants, and those people need to be shipped off. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, and that's a skilled workforce. That is what they do, and they come here specifically to work. Yeah. So I agree with that point.
All right, and then this weekend is if you're into motocross, it's
the Thrilla and Unadilla. And QAnon John never got back to us on the comments here. I look forward to it on Monday. The questions I asked, if you're going to predict,
please.
I want to spend some money on Kelce. So
specific predictions so we can make some money.
There you go.
And Pat,
let's go. If you know, share it.
All right. Listen, enjoy your weekend. Looks like even Sunday, not going to be all that bad.
Yeah.
Nice weekend on the way. Enjoy it while you can. Before you know it, it'll be wintertime. News next, then Kilmeade on WIBX.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Paid Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Luigi Mangione will soon be back in court in New York City. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's a federal courtroom this time where the accused killer is not charged with murder.
Luigi Mangione faces 2 federal stalking charges and could change his plea of not guilty to guilty during the hastily scheduled hearing. Those charges carry a potential life sentence. He's charged in connection with the killing of Brian Thompson, the chief executive of United Healthcare, who was shot outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel in December 2024.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. A guilty plea in the federal case could upend the state murder case against Mangione, which is set to go to trial next month because of New York's double jeopardy laws that could shield him from being tried twice for the same criminal conduct. The U.S.-Iran standoff over the Strait of Hormuz continues. Drones fired at 2 more oil tankers today in the key shipping waterway, but nobody got hurt. As American forces remain on standby in case the U.S. resumes bombing Iran.
There has been some concern expressed about conditions on board the USS Lincoln by family members of those on board and some lawmakers. But Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said just yesterday that everyone on board, every ship in the Gulf is getting everything they need. And CENTCOM followed that up by saying some of the reporting about conditions on the Lincoln is flat out false.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Tel Aviv. The Lincoln's been at sea a record 260-plus days. Another ship could relieve the crew. The USS George Washington reportedly headed to the Middle East. Another Russian barrage on Ukraine has killed a mother and her 9-year-old son, as the UN says July was the deadliest month in